trees in it. The duck is part of it there.
That is actually pulled back a little bit.
Yep. You're right. They've toned it down a little bit, but still, as Forrester points out, still an ugly.
Yeah.
Rooted deep in the woods, and it says deep in the woods, I believe, down at the bottom. But it does have some ducks on it.
I like if I'm an Oregon fan, I like more Donald Duck than like a real duck.
I agree. I'm assuming Matthew Knight is Phil Knight's son. Do we know that? It's his arena.
Oh, that's a great point.
And I don't know what he must have paid. That is a big name.
Or maybe Phil was like, Matthew, he was my seed. I'm going to shout out to my old man.
My seed.
Or maybe I need a tax write-off, and we're paying him a big salary. Let's him make his donation.
I've never heard of Matthew Knight.
I have not either. I'm going to Google Matthew Knight. But, have you guys ever seen a bigger name for an arena? It goes from top of the key to top of the key, Matthew Knight Arena.
I think the Mackey Center's got something like that.
Maybe so.
Yeah, weird seeing Oregon with the Big Ten logo in the lane there, which is what you have over there. All right, final thoughts on the deciding games tonight. You got a Game 7 in hockey. It'll either be one of the all-time great comebacks or one of the all-time choke jobs or both, depending on what happens here. If Edmonton's able to win, you get both. If Florida wins, I guess it will be neither one of those. Game 7 tonight, 7 o'clock on ABC, Edmonton and Florida for the Stanley Cup. Edmonton will be the first Canadian franchise to win a Stanley Cup since 1993 if they win it and come back from 3-0 down. First team to do that since 1942. Or Florida, down in South Florida in Miami, would become the first time the Panthers have won the Stanley Cup if they win that, 7 o'clock on ABC. Meanwhile, on ESPN at 6, it's an all-SEC national championship in college baseball. Here is Tennessee head coach Tony Vitello and A&M head coach Jim Schlossnagle.
Yes.
On Game 2 and playing one more to decide the title.
Yeah, it was an SEC war or just a postseason war. And, in that situation, if you had your druthers, you'd like to have the last at-bat because, the ninth inning is going to be full of drama. But I think our kids kept their composure in that ninth inning. I know it was an exciting win, maybe not the the sexiest or whatever you want to call it. But there was a lot of teammates taking care of teammates, a lot of coaches picking up players picking up coaches with decisions and things like that. And obviously it's easy because the score is what it is, but I just felt like we were more true to who we were today in pregame, in the dugout, during the game. And again, it's easy to say that because we end up doing okay on the scoreboard. But I'd rather go into battle with that group the way they showed up today and hope they do the same tomorrow.
Close ball game. Just exactly what you'd expect with these two teams. To think you're going to roll right through it in two games that would have been nice, but it's obviously we get to play. We don't have to play. We get to play the last college baseball game of the season, and that's awesome.
It is awesome. Real quickly, off topic, do you think if you're Texas A&M, you're up 1-0, pop that back up, Forrester, just a still shot of the A&M coach. Do you have the uniform? This is the uniform I'm going to wear in Game 2? Or this is the uniform I'm going to wear, thinking that if we win the national championship, this is the uniform we're going to wear in that game.
Now, some of that's determined by whether I'm home or visitor, too, based on the color I can wear.
But I think going into it, after they get Game 1, I think that they believed, hey, we're going to get Game 2. And, through 6 innings, it looked like they had it. I mean, Tennessee, those bats were absolutely dead.
Yeah. Interesting, though, that if A&M wins it tonight, you want to know how good the SEC is? The last 4 national championships, if A&M wins, would be a combined 1-7 in the last 4 SEC tournaments. 1 win, 7 losses in their last 8 games at the SEC tournament if A&M wins tonight.
You remember old Gorilla Ball. So the most home runs in a season, 1997 LSU with 188. If Tennessee can go deep 7 times tonight, they'll break the record.
And I think
likely win the game.
That's still pretty amazing. They've got 182 when that was old Gorilla Ball back in the day.
I think it's the first team in NCAA history with 5 guys with 20 or more homers for the season.
Yeah.
They hit like nobody else.
You know where I heard that?
On the Zone last night.
On the Zone, ABC 30-40 last night.
Shout out Jeff Spiegel.
All right, that's our show today. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget a new Pennant Grace in this studio coming up here momentarily, live talking about the Braves all the time. It's our podcast twice a week, the Pennant Grace with E.G. and Ush. They'll roll in here live in a few minutes, and later on, Uncorked, Roll Tide Pods, War Damn Pods, and a lot more. This is the next round. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We have so much college football to talk about. I mean, we're 60 days away. And if you don't think that gets here fast, Brownie.
You go take out a 60-day note. See how quick it gets here. Shout out Doug Layton. Yeah, Rest in peace, Dougie.
30 days faster than Doug Layton. 60 days away from college football. We'll continue our countdown. 40 and 40 countdown brought to you by our friends at MyBookie coming up a little bit later on. But we just now here at the end of June, ended the last academic year of college sports.
I was thinking about that this morning.
Yeah. We only have 60 days between we start the next one.
Were you thinking about this because of Oklahoma and Texas?
No, I was thinking about it because, I was just riding out of the neighborhood thinking, well, last night was basically the last sports other than baseball we have until football starts.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then I was thinking, God, that college baseball or the college sports calendar goes a long way.
Well, I've just been waiting for it to close because now we get Oregon and USC and Washington and UCLA, and we get Oklahoma and Texas, and it's real now.
We have all those parties that are scheduled in Austin and Norman on the day before and the day of July 1st as they officially come into the SEC. I think you'll see that on the SEC network.
Yeah.
I'm sure Laura Rutledge will host one of them and Peter Burns will host the other at different places.
Because I was just thinking, as these sports end, whether you like baseball or not, I'm not the biggest baseball fan.
It's growing,
I sample Major League Baseball. I was just talking baseball in general, not necessarily college. I'll sample Major League Baseball. I don't dive in and watch on a regular basis. But up until now, you've got options, right? If you want to dive into a hockey game, hey, you got some hockey. NBA game, you got some NBA. College baseball, you got some college baseball.
Last night was a fantastic night in the sports room, right?
But it'll be the last sports room night you've got until football starts.
It's all Major League Baseball. Last night was awesome, and I decided to do Game 3, the deciding game of the College World Series, Maine, and then put NHL on side, and then once the game was over, watched the final 5.5 minutes, whatever it was.
Which was fantastic, by the way. It was freaking awesome. Florida goalie without his stick half the time.
Yeah. Bobrovsky, 23 saves to close it out. I mean
holy crap.
They were pegging him.
They were. Then he lost his stick, and he just diving back and forth.
Sergey should have been the MVP. They gave it to the losing, which didn't go over well. If you were watching ABC, they had to silence for about 20 seconds because I think they were chanting F.U. Bettman or whatever.
Well, I mean, look, going into it, I brought this up yesterday. He was 18-1 after Game 3, and then he was minus 5,000 going into last night, him being Connor McDavid. But it's crazy when you have somebody win the Conn Smythe, the most valuable player in the Stanley Cup Finals, on the losing team, but also he doesn't have a point in Game 6 or 7.
Yeah, no assists and no goals.
Yeah.
That's right, no points. And that's
hard to do.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the goalie, now he got shelled a little bit in Games 4, 5, and 6, but he was on his head last night and saving the game for Florida. Congratulations to them. Amazing stat about that, since we jumped into that away from baseball quickly. We talked all this time about Canada. 1993, they lose again. So it's still 1993, the last time they had a Stanley Cup in Canada. Florida, the state of, now has 3 in the last 5 years.
Yeah, not even a hockey state.
Yeah, I mean, that really is crazy. And, Florida gets there first last night, and the revenge tour after losing in 5 last year to Vegas. But, man, there's something special about that first one. And I know they haven't been around a long time, 30 years. I mean, that's kind of a long time. But I remember, celebrating the Rams' first championship in 99-2000, and there is something about that first one.
I mean,
and Tennessee got their first one last night.
I got to tell you, all I could think of was the fact that since the Dolphins last won the Super Bowl, the Heat have won world championships. The Marlins have won world championships, and now a freaking hockey team has won world championships.
We'll go to that. In fact, your great city of Miami
is
Jim. Now 3 for 3.
I know.
3 for 3. No, 3 for 3 in all Game 7s played in the metro Miami area there. Last night at Game 7. In 2013, it was a Game 7 the Heat won, and in 1997, it was a Game 7 the Marlins won, all to win championship. So they've never lost a Game 7 in the metro Miami area.
You don't get those in football, unfortunately.
Since we have seen the Dolphins last win a championship.
Correct.
I think the Heat have got 4.
I think you're right about that.
I think the Marlins have got 2.
2 was what my count was, and then the
Panthers.
upstart Panthers have 1.
I mean, if you would have said there's going to be 7 combined championships between these great Miami organizations, you would have thought your team could have grabbed 1.
Yeah, you would have said the Dolphins at least contribute 1.
Yeah, the Dolphins have 0.
Right. That's all I could think of. That's how sad it is to be a Dolphins fan. I'm watching all the excitement of these Panthers players, and I'm thinking, my team, my historic franchise, is the franchise of the city that can't win a championship now. Every other team in this city wins a championship.
Yeah. All right. So hockey ends last night. It was amazing to watch that. I think we were to the point now we actually overplayed the Stanley Cup celebration a little bit. I mean, we ooze all over that thing.
Yeah, I went ahead and went to bed, honestly. It's almost to the level of the Butler Cabin at Augusta. And it's overhype and cheesiness.
Yeah, I do think, though, and I agree. I mean, I shut it down, but I do think it is the coolest trophy in all of sports.
I would agree.
And it's iconic, but we're to the point, I don't know who was doing it. Maybe it was Sean McDonough, who I love. Maybe
he's phenomenal.
Maybe it was Steve Levy. I don't know who was doing it at the time, but they give it to the captain first, and then he chooses who he hands it to, and then the next person chooses who they hand it to. And so who is the captain? First of all, he's the first Finland-born player who's a captain.
Very important.
To be the first to hoist the Stanley Cup.
Very important, yes.
And as they're skating around with it, who will he give it to next? He gives it to the goalie next. And then there's we're down to the 5th guy, and they're having to drop in. The current version of the Stanley Cup weighs 35.2 ounces.
Yeah, a lot of that. Yeah, I did think it was pretty cool with I've never been able to say their last name. It's just word.
Kachuk?
Yeah, that one.
Leaves the T off.
Yeah, and his dad there's a T in there, and I have to say it. Yeah. And his dad's in the stands, and apparently his dad never won one, right?
18 years.
18 years and had a great career and never won one. I remember him playing, obviously.
And his brother, who plays in Ottawa,
that's right,
is up there with missing chiclets as he was smiling last night. I was like, we don't have any fillers he puts in?
Yeah, and then there's the son. Like, when you see a family that's invested that much in the sport and they finally get one, that was pretty cool.
But I saw a picture, and I saw it a couple of weeks ago, of him and Jason Tatum on a school bus together because they grew up in St. Louis.
Right.
And so now both of them won championships within a week. Yeah.
And then there's the Vitello family last night, where Tony Vitello in Tennessee gets the big win. Celebrations everywhere. Ryan McGee puts this out. I mean, this is Forrester's got a video of a guy. Look at this old guy right here. Now, it's been a long time since Tennessee's won a national championship.
Wouldn't bet.
Well, look, they don't win a lot of championships.
1998's their last big one, right?
and you could see the royalty from Peyton Manning. Josh Heupel. I was wondering what was in the Solo Cup. Morgan Wallen was in the house.
Yeah, Rick Barnes was there.
Yeah, they all showed up. It was funny, though. One shot was just of Rick Barnes centered, and you saw Peyton Manning to his left.
Yeah, and you're like, wouldn't Peyton Manning be the one that's centered?
Slide it over, please.
And by the way, Morgan Wallen's on the other side of Peyton Manning.
I thought the most important thing was Christian Moore, though, with the leadoff homer, taking a little pressure off that offense. Yep. I thought it was all about pitching, though. Sechrist was really good, and then the Hillbillies that came in to close it down, it was wild. But
it was.
I mean, the one dude, Kirby Connell, he looks like he does mountain porn, if that's even a thing.
Mountain porn.
I'm sure there is LT. The guy with the mustache and the long hair.
Well, the guy that pitched 2/3 of an inning had 2 strikeouts, and for some reason Vitello pulled him going to the 9th. I really didn't understand that.
The Aaron Combs guy, you're talking about a guy that just has ice. He comes in
half the time.
Yeah, he's got that shit-eating grin. Looks like he steals copper and maybe makes meth at the same time.
I agree. But, that was the most successful train wreck I think I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
He was a complete train wreck.
They said it on the broadcast, he didn't even,
He didn't know the guy went to second.
Yeah. Wasn't holding the guy at all.
Yeah, he balks because he's got.
I didn't know he went to second.
He was smiling about it.
He balks because he's going to make a throw to first when there's not even a runner on first.
The guy you were talking about, the guy who came in the 8th, I was like, oh, they just put my mascot in, my old school Tampa Bay Buccaneer logo mascot in.
And then he had the wild pitch when he turns to look at the guy on second and then throws the pitch like he's Al Raboski.
I can't believe they made it that close.
I really can't
that game
either.
should have been locked down.
Yeah, that's why you don't do money line, right? I think you could have gotten +1.5 with Texas A&M at mybookie.ag.
No, you do money line. You don't play with them.
Well, Dunaway, you went 1.5, right?
No, I went money line. +1.5. That last meaningless wild pitch to make it 6-5 would have been a winner.
No, we had Tennessee last night. We had the Florida Panthers. Really good 4-1 night at Lance's Lock.
Lance'sLock.com there, which is brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. Hemp Hill, we'll get into more of the Tennessee celebration there as you see them rush the field and do the dog pile that is traditional in baseball. You never want to be the guy on the bottom there. They fight for that, and some guys embrace it. But a big celebration for Tennessee. We'll talk more about that and get some reaction, including Ron Slay, right after LT tells us about our friends at Hemp Hill, part of Lance'sLock.com.
Yeah, I trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your heating, cooling, and plumbing issues. Whether you experience any of these in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Let's go cut one first. Tony Vitello. Give me Forrester's mic. Forrester, how many questions did he get about the Texas job in his post-game news conference? Any?
None specifically about Texas.
Are you serious? Not one?
Yep. Not one.
Well, but I mean,
I give them a little credit for not asking, though.
Meanwhile, Texas A&M's coach Forrester, how many did he get?
He definitely got a question.
Well, because the storyline changed. I mean, once Texas fired their coach, the rumors shifted from Vitello to Schlossnagel.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'd seen that. Somebody mentioned it in the mybookie.ag chat room at the end of the show.
So from TCU to Texas A&M to possibly Texas, just going to coach everywhere in Texas?
I guess so. He's just going to coach till he finds the Texas job he likes.
Well, let's go with that one first. Give me cut 5. Let's bring in Schlossnagel here, the head coach at Texas A&M. About a 12-minute loser news conference last night. And the last question.
Oh, waited to the end, huh?
The last question is from an Aggie reporter. I mean, if he's reported to be in the mix, you got to ask the question. I'm surprised nobody asked Tony Vitello.
I am too.
So here's the Schlossnagel question, his last one before he walks off.
With the rumors circulating today about a specific job opening, what do you have to say about your future in Aggie land?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind. And that's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question, but I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. Let's write that.
Wow. That is.
And he gets up and storms off.
When he said he left his family,
which I guess is TCU, I don't know his history.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but I'm assuming his family stayed in Fort Worth.
Yeah, probably stayed in Fort Worth. He packed up.
Yeah.
He goes to College Station.
But I mean,
they're conditioned to it. He could do it again now, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't mean that he sat the kids down and said, Mom and I are splitting up, and I'm the coach of Texas A&M now.
I'm making a lot of money. We're going to give you guys half, but you won't
see me much. Yeah,
I'm going to leave you guys here in Dallas, Fort Worth.
That's the way it sounded. Like, look, Mom and I have come to a decision. You kids are going to be just fine. Daddy's going to be living in College Station now. Yeah. I'll come see you every third weekend.
And trust me, you guys want to stay here in Fort Worth.
I Tony Vitello, though, would have been better if they would have lost and that question would have been asked.
I know. Look, I mean, I get that the coach doesn't want to answer the question, but the reporter was as kind to him as he could be. He didn't even mention the phrase Texas. He also said, he didn't ask, are you taking the Texas job? He just said, can you comment on your future at A&M?
That's right.
And that teed Schlossnagel up to say, I would never take another job other than Texas A&M, which he eventually kind of got around to saying.
I don't understand, though. I mean, these are news conferences afterwards, and you guys make tons of money as coaches. And if your name is in the mix and you have left TCU for A&M, and there is, reports out there, I don't know them, but if there are reports out there that you may be in the mix at Texas, it's got to be asked. I'm surprised Vitello, but Trey Wallace, who was on our show yesterday,
got to say is, I mean, it's really simple. Don't love the question, but you know what? I'm not leaving here. This is my last job. That's it. Make it simple.
And he eventually got around to that. But these coaches...
Took him a long way, though.
It did. These coaches act like they don't like their name being out there, but they benefit from their name being out there. They can't...
They actually pay percentage points to somebody to make sure their name's out there.
That's right. So, these coaches could get all beat up all they want that they get asked that question, but it only benefits them. I promise you, in the next month or so, one day you'll be sitting here in your headlines, if he stays at Texas A&M, By the way, guys, Jim Schlossnagle, you remember they were the runner-up in the College World Series. He's just agreed to a contract extension. How do you think that stuff happens?
Doubling his salary.
Doubling his salary.
So, shocker.
Yeah, you know how that happens? You get mentioned for the Texas job. Yeah. That's how that happens.
I just expanded my family.
That's right.
Both of those guys are getting paid.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what Trey told us yesterday is Vitello's probably going to double regardless. I mean, if he takes the Texas job or stays at Tennessee, he's going to double up near $4 million.
We will get to Tony Vitello coming up later in the show as we circle back to the big Tennessee National Championship. Would you give me cut for Ron Slay, friend of the show?
I love Ron.
We love Ron's passion, right? But it's this point in the show where I'd like to remind everybody that this was not a football national championship.
Got to celebrate when you celebrate. Tennessee fan.
Are we talking football? No. This wasn't a college basketball March Madness national championship.
No, I noticed it on both sides. Though for A&M was equally, I don't want to say guilty. I mean, be excited about this.
They don't win championships.
But yeah, it was A&M and Tennessee, and the best of the best were out. Everybody was just stirring about this because it was somebody's opportunity to finally win one.
But again, not football, not basketball. Here's our man Ron Slay with the excitement in Tennessee country.
Hey, man, book our natty. Book our natty.
Is it football season?
We want our natty. Now. Not tomorrow, but right now. Give us our natty. Let's go Vols. Why? Because that's all we know. Let's go Vols. Where's the haters? Y'all going to be sick of me.
It's baseball.
Ooh, y'all gonna be sick of me.
Ron Slay.
I can only imagine if they win another championship in football. You know what I don't like is this Tennessee uniform scheme is great. A lot of people hate that orange, but I think the orange and white is so classic. But when you mix the black in, just don't like the black jersey at all.
Dunaway mentioned it on the show yesterday. He asked if A&M was wearing that pinstripe, thinking that was going to be their dog pile jersey. That's going to be the jersey that lives in infamy.
And then you end up
not winning it. But then Tennessee last night, you knew there's a chance that's your jersey. I mean, that's the last game of the season.
You choose them all. You wear the same ones you won with the night before.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the superstitions of baseball.
And that's the one they went with, though.
That's a terrible jersey.
My bookie brings us our 40 and 40 every day. So we're going to do that here because our next guest, Andy Staples, is going to talk to us a little bit about our 40 and 40 team. So let's get to, and we'll circle back to Tennessee's celebration. I'm only kidding with Ron Slay. It means a great deal to win a championship in anything, and we will celebrate it greatly with the Tennessee fans a little bit later on in the show. But MyBookie gets us to football. We're at number 12 in MyBookie.ag, continuing our 40 and 40 countdown.
Yeah, code next round when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. You get that sign-on bonus. They've got a revamped loyalty program and VIP program. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round to get that sign-on bonus at MyBookie.ag. They bring you the 40 and 40.
Let's do the big unveil right here. At number 12, it's Florida State. I caught the very end on, I think it was the ACC Network the other night of the ACC championship game in the celebration. That team was unbeaten last year and just missed the playoffs, I'm told.
Yeah, without the Jordan Travis injury, you wonder, against North Alabama nonetheless, you wonder how this season actually plays out. If Alabama doesn't hit a 4th and 23, Florida State's in the playoff. I mean, so many things had to happen to the Seminoles, and you just wonder coming off that 13-1. Obviously, the Orange Bowl was a disaster against Georgia, but they're going to have a major chip on their shoulder. But the problem is you lose Keon Coleman, you lose Johnny Wilson, you lose Trey Benson, you lose Jordan Travis. You're losing a ton off that offense. Braden Fisk, Jared Verse off the defense. I mean, so there are some major holes. People believe best roster in the ACC. I think the schedule's difficult, though.
Yeah, I was looking at the schedule this morning. Obviously, they open up in week 0 in that Dublin game against Georgia Tech, which they'll be heavy favorites in that game. And should win that game.
Tech a little improved this year, I think.
I don't think enough. Boston
College.
You
say heavy favorites. I would say 13, 14. Okay, yeah, but I mean, that's pretty heavy.
Boston College, bye week, Memphis. And then you get those classic ACC rivalry games, Cal and SMU.
Okay, well, you're opening SMU on the road. SMU on the road is going to be a difficult game. I think they're probably still a touchdown favorite. They probably win that. But that's when it starts getting real.
That's right. Clemson at home, bye week at Duke, and then at Miami. And if Miami is what a lot of people think they're going to be, this could feel like the old school Miami Florida State games from back in the day. And then you still got a Notre Dame road trip.
At Miami Florida State, when it was really good, LT and Brown, didn't they play it earlier in the year? Sometimes it was the opener.
It was in October.
No, it was in October. And then they moved it in the early 2000s to Labor Day weekend. That's when it started to lose its steam.
Okay. I thought there was one of the great ones in like the 80s that was early Labor Day night, maybe a standalone game. But that schedule is to Notre Dame tricky at the end there as well. So for this Florida State team, did they backfill enough in the portal, LT and Brownie, to fill the holes they lost? Enough. They got several Alabama players down there.
Well, yeah, you got Roydell Williams is coming in. I mean, the backfield, although you lose Trey Benson, you got a lot of capable guys. Marvin Jones Jr., I never understood why I shouldn't say that. There's a reason he signed with Georgia, but his dad was one of the legendary all-time defenders at Florida State. He's coming back. He's got all of the signs of being the next best or next big, really good defensive lineman for the Seminoles. But they've got 6 difficult games. And I just don't see them navigating another. I guess you don't have to go 12-0 or 13-0 to get to a college football playoff now with 12.
No, but they
obviously you just got to win the ACC.
They got to win the ACC, yeah.
But, at SMU, Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame, and Florida, to me, are all really difficult games.
I think they probably end up playing Clemson or Miami twice if they win the ACC. If they're playing for the ACC, they're going to have to play Miami and Clemson twice, perhaps beat one of those two teams
and more
twice.
Importantly, how good is DJ going to be? Like, DJ to me has always struck me as an 8-win quarterback.
Yeah.
I just don't, he was solid at Clemson at times, very inconsistent. He was solid at Oregon State. But I think you got to downgrade at quarterback. I think Jordan Travis is a better quarterback.
I think you nailed the word there, inconsistent. And inconsistent with that schedule usually gives you 2 or 3 losses. The question we'll ask Andy Staples, or at least maybe I will if somebody doesn't beat me to it, is can the ACC get 2 in? And is that the conference championship game that if you play in it and you lose, that could hurt you more than being in the SEC or the Big Ten championship game? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could have, like you said, a rematch of Florida State and Clemson or Florida State and Miami. And
undefeated Florida State
at
loses.
that point, the projections are 2 in.
Yeah.
But with one of them losing, it could knock you out of the playoffs. Interesting there, but Florida State is in at number 12 in your countdown, voted on by 94 of you and us. Mike Norvell, 23-4 over the last 2 seasons at Florida State in the rebuild. Those 3 big games at SMU, Clemson at home, and at Miami. Tricky games there. At number 12, Florida State, brought to you by our friends at mybookie.ag.
You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Lance just told you he thinks perhaps that opening game, Florida State about a 2-touchdown favorite for week 0. You got it right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round for that sign-on bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Code next round.
Yeah, use that code when you reload. Like, say, maybe you lost 2/3 of what you had left in your MyBookie account last night in the College World Series.
When you had A&M, maybe?
Real easy to kick more money in there. I haven't done it yet. I've been winning enough to stay afloat, but I need a hot one somewhere before football season.
Hot one.
To rebuild the old coffers there after the Aggies lost last night. Andy Staples on the other side. We'll continue the college football conversation. Clay Travis, if he's awake, in Omaha after buying Jell-O shots for his national champs with us at 10 o'clock. This is the next round, brought to you by our friends at Roback. Remember that promo code TNR20, TNR20 there, and our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, poolside, lakeside, or at the beach. It's our friends at Bud Light. This is TNR.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Just 60 days from college football, including that opener, Florida State and Georgia Tech. We just showed you Florida State, number 12 in our fan viewer voted preseason poll. 94 of you have the Seminoles coming in at number 12 as we count down one team every show in our 40 and 40 until we get to SEC Media Days and that SEC hotbed known as Dallas, Texas.
That's a new one. Andy Staples is with us on 3 Sports at Andy_Staples. You get all his work there. We appreciate the time. As always, Andy, on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. How are you?
What's going on, gents? How we doing?
Doing fantastic. Thank you very much. Our people voted Florida State 12. You think that's fair to the Noles?
I think it's low. I think Florida State's going to be it. I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were last year. The question is, what are they going to get at quarterback from DJ Uiagalelei versus what they got from Jordan Travis? But anybody who thinks, oh, they lost Braden Fisk, they lost Jared Verse, all of a sudden they're going to fall off, hasn't been paying attention to what they've been doing in the transfer portal, and then also in terms of developing guys who've been on their roster. Like the D-line situation is really interesting to me for them. Like Marvin Jones Jr., who's a legacy guy, but who went to Georgia first, he transfers there. It's not necessarily a pure Jermaine Johnson situation where Jermaine Johnson just wanted to show he was an every down player, goes to Florida State, becomes the ACC Player of the Year in a first-round draft pick. But, Marvin Jones Jr. is going to play a bigger role at Florida State than he would have played on that Georgia defense and has a chance to be really good, especially opposite Peyton Patrick. So their pass rush should be pretty good, even though they lost a first-round pass rusher in Jared Verse. They lose Braden Fisk on the D-line. Well, Darrell Jackson Jr. was supposed to play last year, but remember the NCAA denied his waiver after he transferred from Miami. So he's just been hanging out, learning the defense, and now is ready to plug and play, and he's a guy who would have started last year alongside Braden Fisk. So I think they're going to be a lot tougher than people realize in terms of replacing what they lost.
I know Miami and Florida seem a long way off, but if I asked you next team to win a national championship in the state of Florida, is it an easy answer with Florida State?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I definitely. I think that if we're talking about those three, Florida State is miles ahead of them right now. Now, Miami, roster-wise, feels like they're closer than Florida right now. But, again, we need to see that on the field. I think Miami had a decent roster last year, and it felt like they didn't didn't put everything together. And that Miami Florida game is going to be very interesting week 1, because it's one of those where both of the fan bases are like, well, we can't possibly lose to them, because if we lose to them, what's going to happen? And I think we're not going to learn as much from that game, other than the losing fan base is going to completely melt down.
We don't know yet how the selection committee will react to these large conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC, but I believe a lot of our viewers, and maybe me at sometimes, are being lured into believing that the ACC, Big 12 are one-bid leagues, and the rest of the field is going to be filled up by the SEC and the Big Ten. How close to reality is that? Like, what has to happen, do you think, for the ACC to get 2, maybe 3 in someday?
I do think the ACC feels more like a multiple bid league than the Big 12 this year. But like, if you go through the history of the college football playoff, just looking at the way the rankings shook out, even if you back out Texas and Oklahoma from the Big 12, there were a lot of years the Big 12 would have been a multiple bid league. So I think it's going to happen more often than people realize. This year, the ACC seems a little bit stronger at the top. So you've got Florida State and Clemson, obviously. I just talked about Miami's roster. If Miami puts it all together with that roster, you're talking about a 10-2 or an 11-1 type team. Now, will there be another 10-2, 11-1 type team in the ACC? I think it's possible. I think whether that's NC State or Louisville, I think Virginia Tech could be pretty good this year. Like, they could have a couple of good teams at the top. The Big 12 feels a little more like it'll cannibalize itself, just because everybody seems like the baseline seems to be better in the Big 12 than the ACC, but the top end doesn't seem as top, if that makes sense. So yeah. I do think that they might cannibalize each other, and you may just have teams beating up on each other at the end of the Big 12 conference schedule, where you may have a 10-2 versus a 9-3 team in the Big 12 championship game, and winner gets in and loser goes home. But the ACC, you could have a situation where both of the teams playing in the ACC championship game are in the playoff, and maybe they're playing for a bye versus having to go on the road first round of the playoffs.
Andy Staples is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. On3 Sports, you can get a link to all his work right there in his Twitter bio at On3 Sports and on3.com. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. That Twitter bio available at Andy_Staples, by the way. So when I start looking at the games that intrigue me most in week 1, I think obviously Miami and Florida. Texas A&M, Notre Dame. I think maybe third on the list. I'm not ready to reveal my whole list, but third on the list might be West Virginia, Penn State. Dude,
woo, yeah.
In Morgantown. Now, we looked yesterday, mybookie.ag. It's a 10.5 point, Penn State 10.5 point favorite. Lance thinks that comes down near maybe a touchdown-ish.
Yeah. I think it'll go off about 8 or 9.
I haven't played there since 1992.
Yeah. I mean, tricky spot for James Franklin to start the season there, you think?
Tricky, but they know it's tricky.
Yeah.
They played them last year. They beat them last year, but I think understood that they were dealing with a pretty talented team. This West Virginia team brought back most of what was important. Now they lost, like Zach Frazier was going to the NFL, their center, but they're solid on the offensive line. They discovered in Jaheim White, a freshman back last year, an electric playmaker. He averaged 7.7 yards a carry last year. And then they've got C.J. Donaldson, who's kind of the big workhorse. And then Garrett Green, their quarterback, is like this crazy, yes, no, yes kind of quarter. Like, he loves to run around and then chuck it downfield. So, yeah, they're a very dangerous team. I do think Penn State will know that. I think there'll be a high respect factor going in because West Virginia was so good last year. So I think it's one of those where Penn State's not going to be surprised by this, but they're going to be challenged by this. Now, the question is, can West Virginia get over the hump? We'll see. Penn State, new coordinators offensively and defensively. This will be the first time they're running their new offense under Andy Kotelnicki. And that, we don't know what that's going to look like yet. Could be great, could be bad, could be somewhere in between. But I like the defense. I'm not worried about with Penn State because they're insanely talented. They're going to play Abdul Carter in the way they need to play him, where he's just rushing the passer almost every play. I have a lot of faith in Tom Allen as the defensive coordinator. He's the former Indiana head coach, but as a defensive play caller, he's always been very good. So I think defensively Penn State's going to be okay, and that'll get them through in that game. But I am fascinated to see what their offense looks like.
Well, and sticking with Penn State, Andy, that was the team we actually previewed yesterday. And, of course, one of the narratives, James Franklin can't beat top tens. He can't beat Michigan. He can't beat Ohio State. But now, and this is a team that never made a 14 playoff, but now that we expand to 12, you might not have to beat those teams to get into a 12-team playoff. Would you say right now, yes or no, Penn State makes 12-team playoff this year?
I say they should. They definitely should. I mean, so Penn State would have made it 6 times since 2016.
Wow.
With this system in place. 6 times. So, yeah, they've been right on the edge every single time. And they would have, I believe they would have barely made it last year. This needs to happen. Like, that's the next step. And that fan base is not going to be happy if they don't, because it's been like, okay, it's a 14 playoff, but Ohio State and Michigan have really just sort of stood in the way. That impediment is now gone. So if you can't make the 12-team playoff with that impediment gone, then you've got bigger problems. So, yeah, they've got to make it, but it's not just that. You got to make it, and you probably need to advance. Like, you need to do some stuff when you get there, too.
I was at the beach last week. While I was gone, did Kalen DeBoer learn how to recruit? I mean, I had read everywhere he was going to struggle to recruit.
Jimmy Bama.
You on 3 folks are telling me that he's pretty good at recruiting these days.
Jim, the sarcasm dripping off that statement.
Dripping.
Like, you have a puddle on your desk. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it turns out the guy who's only lost 12 games and won 100-something games is pretty good at recruiting. It's amazing how that works. But, yeah, the staff they put together in terms of mixing some guys with SEC experience and then bringing in their own people seems to understand how this works, 2, how the calendar works. And, yeah, they're getting guys on campus, and they now have a chance, in our ranking and the industry ranking, of maybe finishing with the number 1 recruiting class in America come December. So, like, yeah, they've still got a pretty good recruiting operation in Alabama, which is, they didn't just clean house. There's a lot left over from the infrastructure that Nick Saban had, and then they've brought in some of their own pieces too. So I do think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with on the recruiting trail. And yeah, I realize Kalen DeBoer is from the Dakotas, but turns out if you can recruit, you can recruit.
A public thank you to Andy. I've already thanked him privately. When I was in Austin recently, I gave him a selection of barbecue restaurants that are famous there and allowed him to pick for me. He picked Terry Black's, and it was spot on. Excellent recommendation by Andy. No one should be surprised at that.
Which is funny because it's the one that I hadn't been to of the ones that.
Really?
But I've had so many friends in the last year send me pictures from there to make me jealous. Like, I knew what was going to happen. And I got pictures to make me jealous. So there you go.
I did send Andy a photo. So
then Brown should buy your meal if you ever get to go
I
there.
will,
yes.
absolutely. Yeah. I will buy dinner for Andy if we are together in Dallas or wherever we are. I'll buy dinner.
Brown and LT will tell you nobody spends their money better than I do.
Well, listen. Yeah, I'm gonna let Jim handle the directions. I'll pick the restaurant. Jim can decide who pays. And then you two can flip a coin.
Yeah, well, if Jim decides who pays, it'll be one of me too.
Oh, yeah, these are the money guys. These are the money guys.
Yes. Yeah. Andy, thank you very much for the time. Always a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, buddy. Take care. At Andy_Staples on 3 Sports is where you find Andy on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. He was on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I sent Scott a photo of the family plate. He can have it ready if you want to see what we got at Terry Black's.
Andy Staples' show, by the way, is a great way to, year-round to enjoy some college football, great interviews, and his daily show is full of content there on 3 Sports. So Forrester's going to pull up that. Was this last week? You've already showed it on the air once?
No, I've not showed it. I just remembered as Andy came on. I didn't even share it with you guys.
Okay.
I was not doing a ton of texting.
You do ribs, you do chopped pork.
We did everything, buddy.
Yeah.
It's one of those smokehouses where they put it on a piece of wax paper. They just throw the meat out.
I've gone to these places with Brown, and he gets the sampler platter.
He overorders.
Yeah.
And I overordered.
Were you able to do a slice of pie, too?
I did not. There's the shot.
Here we go.
So top, you got the mac and cheese, the green beans, baked beans, and pickles. And then that is a smoked sausage, a beef rib, some of their famous brisket, and turkey.
I am shocked you even touched the turkey.
Oh, he gets turkey everywhere. It
I like
blows my
smoked turkey.
mind. It
I do
blows
too,
my mind.
Turkey is
but-
terrific. Why are you shocked by that? Smoked
Well,
turkey is
I mean,
phenomenal.
just because like turkey, I know it's on most menus at barbecue joints, but it's kind of an afterthought when you go to a barbecue
Yeah, I'm
joint.
with LT. I never think to get it. I see it every time, but you get it every time.
I get a lot of smoked turkey.
But I
Smoked
get
turkey
every time.
Huh?
I get turkey
Do you?
every time.
Yeah.
Well, because you don't like barbecue.
You like the
Well,
white
I don't
meat,
mind
right?
barbecue. I don't
Yeah.
like ribs, but I don't mind barbecue. But I'd take a smoked turkey barbecue sauce over
Yeah.
a barbecue sandwich.
you will always get the sausage though too.
Love
You
sausage.
always
Yeah,
Smoked
I
sausage.
like the sausage too. I like everything about your order, and I like smoked turkey.
Smoked turkey's terrific.
It's the one thing that kind of stands out.
I'm intrigued now. I see the brisket. Is that a beef rib?
That is the beef rib on
I
the bottom.
love a
yeah.
beef rib.
Which they say that's their best thing. I thought of everything on the plate, the sausage was the best thing to me. That is Terry Black's in Austin, one of the many smokehouses in Austin. You know,
Can I ask you one other question?
Sure.
Is that 2 ribs, or did they just put that much
no,
meat
that
on
is that is one beef rib.
That is one beef rib.
Isn't that incredible?
That is amazing.
What
Yeah,
kind
it's
of pickles?
They were pretty good. I mean, they weren't like anything to write home about. It was just something good to kind of cut add a little acid in, cut it a little bit.
Are those green beans?
They are. My wife got the green beans. I did not. That's the one thing on the plate I didn't bother with. I tried the mac and cheese. So
My speed right there.
I know. So the mac and cheese primarily for my 10-year-old and the turkey. She likes turkey, so we got that. That's one reason we got turkey. But I did want to try their smoked turkey. So
How are their sauces?
Very good. They had a variety of sauces: a spicy, a sweet.
See, I don't like the vinegar sauce because it's too runny.
There
I
was no
like
vinegar.
a little thickness to my barbecue
Yeah,
sauce.
I'm with you, Lance. I like more of the tomato base with the thickness, and that's what they had there. Franklin Barbecue in Austin is the one everybody talks about, but there is a line, and that's from what I can gather from talking to people, it's good, but the intrigue is you wait in line. That's kind of the experience. And what people will do is they'll bring their lawn chairs and a cooler of beer at 8:00 in the morning, and you kind of get to know everybody in line. Well, I was never going to sell my family on that one.
Yeah.
So that's what I told Andy. I got to separate that one out, and you pick the other one, and he picked Terry Black.
Is the original one in Austin, the Austin
Franklin?
one, is it a...
It was a food truck to begin with.
Okay, okay. I went to one in Austin that was away from town. There was one downtown, but the original one was in the sort of outside the city.
Yeah.
So we went to the original one, and it was an amazing experience, but I can't remember the name of it. I love good food. People in the mybookie.ag chat room, promo code next round at mybookie, asking the question about the cost of that. If you will share that with us. I mean, prices are everywhere. It's not a humble brag. You're not Clay buying 5,000 Jell-O shots or anything. But some were saying just the beef rib alone was going to touch $50.
Well, they actually, the lady was very nice. She goes, I'm going to back out a little bit on the weight of the beef rib because of the bone.
Okay.
I was ordering.
I bet the owners didn't like that.
I was ordering without price in mind, and I don't mean that as a brag. I'm just saying.
Your vacation, once in a lifetime, you're going to be
that's
there.
right.
Yeah.
And you're paying by the pound. So it does get a little bit confusing because I don't know, she puts 3 slices of turkey up there. I don't know if am I at a pound or what. That tray of food plus the drinks was $158. Wow. Tip. I heard somebody in the back.
Was that
back
lunch?
There. That was lunch, yeah.
And that was non-alcoholic drinks,
There
right?
were no alcohol. No, it was soft drinks and water.
That's a pricey lunch.
That's a pricey lunch. Yeah,
Did the
I was
girls
a little.
Did the girls eat off of that tray, or they had their own
No,
trays?
everybody ate off that tray, and
Okay.
we finished
So
the tray.
that tray was $158.
$158. Now I did.
We've had a family of 4 though.
It did. That's steep for barbecue. I will admit that's steep for barbecue.
That's still. I mean, that's $40 a person for lunch. That's crazy.
I was at the beach and I got the taco, the special at lunch. The taco. Now my wife and her college roommate had 2 cocktails. I had 1 IPA, but it was 2 fish tacos with fried plantains, and it was $117.
Yeah, but you just get
45
45 of that is alcohol.
Yeah, good point.
And now mine was, I did tip generously because they were nice. So it's probably a 25% tip. So what, maybe $25 of that was tip. So it was probably $125 just in food. And I was a bit surprised when that price popped up.
Were you? It takes a lot to surprise you.
Now, if you're back in Austin, you eat that again?
Oh, I'd go back in a heartbeat. Yeah, it was fantastic.
So that was Austin.
That was in Austin, yeah.
Okay, not Fort Worth.
So the SEC fans, if you go out there, and I said this, you were going, and you've said it before, probably of all the SEC campuses I've been to, and I haven't been to all of them, but I've been to a lot of them, Texas is the least SEC feeling campus I've ever been to.
Me too.
And
I mean, it's downtown.
Yeah, I could not believe
what big city.
I could not believe what an urban campus it was.
Yeah.
And you had prepared me for the fact that Brown, their football complex, is basically right under the interstate.
Yeah.
No, it's right under the interstate. You were not lying about that.
Like their practice field, if you throw a good Michelob Ultra or Bud Light bottle out,
you're on the
probably
field.
hit the third string DB.
Yeah, it's right off the interstate. I was a bit surprised by that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go out there, I would recommend Terry Black's. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too far from campus.
And Austin, I mean, I should know, but Austin surprised me of how big of a city it is.
Yeah, it's a very large city. I was surprised by that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's television market. I think Columbus has one now. I think Austin is the largest city in the United States without a professional sports franchise.
I think you're right.
I think I'm right about that.
And then we
maybe
went to
percentage of Californians that are.
Well, it's a very low. I've got a friend that actually lives out there, and he said it is a growing percentage. That a lot of people have moved from California. No state income tax.
A lot of division in Austin.
Yeah, it's interesting. I liked San Antonio much better than I did Austin.
All right, that's our Andy Staples and food conversation. Our friends at HydroLive, after you've had all that salt,
I needed it.
They'll get you back right. HydroLive does a lot for you, all sorts of services, and I recommend the membership there, LT. That gets you a lot of discounts.
Yeah, members rewarded with deep discounts, save up to 50% off regular pricing for all services, plus receive one free IV bag per month. With the impressive savings and benefits members receive, you recoup that IV membership fee in just one visit. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, it's all under one roof. IV therapy treatments packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, boost your immune system, and much more. 2 locations of HydroLive Therapy right here in Birmingham, the original in Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone, also Tuscaloosa. Make sure you mention the next round. You're going to get 20% off any of these great services. For more information, you can always go online. Go to hydrolivetherapy.com.
I apologize to the great Dennis Scott Skiles, Penny Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal. Orlando does have the Magic. That is a professional sports team, so I shouldn't have thrown Orlando in there. I appreciate all of you guys, Caleb and Goose, and everybody pointing that out.
You do it.
And Daniel says, by the way, Austin, larger than Orlando anyway, Dunaway.
Yeah.
So there you go. Jim's geography and more as we continue on. LT has our 4 downs on the other side. We'll get to that. Clay Travis at the top of the hour. Show being brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA. Guys, as you get older, you want to stay on top of your health more than ever when it comes to some of your urology needs. That's what UCA does for you. Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Listen, there are 16 locations. Find the one near you. Make that appointment. 20s to 30s, 30s to 40s, something you need to be concerned about. From prostate health to kidney stones, everything in between. 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @thelancetaylor.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or michelson.laservision.com.
You never know what we're up to here at The Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow The Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunceford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow @NextRoundLive across all platforms to join in.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Our friends at Longest Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longest offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longest offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longest sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longest has to offer you.
Caleb says in the mybookie.ag chat room, I respect that so much. Jim just wasn't thinking and admitted he was wrong instead of ignoring it. I don't know what we're talking about. I make
Orlando.
I make mistakes all the time and try to fess up to them as much as I can. In real time. Sometimes I don't know I make mistakes.
We have an agreement among each other that if we make an obvious mistake, let's just go ahead and correct it in the course of the show,
Right.
and we're not going to get our feelings hurt. But sometimes it's a small enough mistake that we're not just going to correct everything. And then there were times where I didn't even hear you say Orlando.
Right.
I might not have caught it anyway.
Well, like earlier, LT said 4th and 23. It's 4th and 31, but I figured everyone knew what we're talking about,
Yeah,
so I
right.
wasn't going to jump in on that, right?
Yeah, we're not going to correct
I don't know where I
everything.
pulled 4th and 23. Wasn't there a 4th and 23 for something?
Was that the Arkansas
It
Ole
might have
Miss
been.
play? I think
It might
it
have
was 4th.
been.
No,
Yeah.
honest to goodness, I think
Yeah.
it was 4th and 23.
Yeah. The one that still bothers you, Freeze.
Oh, he should.
Yeah.
Again, as I've always said, Hugh said the same thing. There was one person on that field who didn't want the ball going to.
And somehow
there were 21 other people on the field, or 20 other people on the field. Hunter Henry had the ball, and then one other guy, and it's who it went to.
Here we go now. It is, what is 4th and 25?
I think that's the Arkansas play.
Oh,
yeah.
Patrick, come on. Don't come in and pee in our Cheerios. Here we go now. It's Slice. It's 4 downs. It's a great place to have lunch. To go, I mean, to go is always easy with Slice, right? For office parties, meetings, or whatever. Take it home for the kids. They're out of school. But the best thing about Slice this time of year, as that sun starts to set at their locations, they have great outdoor dining. Just a great time to spend time with family and friends. Our friends at Slice, LT.
Yeah, get in and see the Bajalia brothers, created by the late Jeff. His brothers, Chris and Jason, continue to celebrate his legacy. Fantastic pizza, the best out there, from the soul pie to the wing and a prayer. For more information, you can always go online, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
More total touchdowns this year. DJ at at Florida State, or Cade Klubnik at his former team, Clemson.
I think I'm going to go DJ at Florida State. I think I got more confidence in Mike Norvell getting offense right now than Garrett Riley plus Dabo Swinney.
Yeah, and I think the key to Clemson's season, I think Clemson's defense is going to be one of the best defenses in college football this year. And I think you're going to play to that defense and try to win the game defensively. Try to keep Cade Klubnik away from losing the game, the old dreaded game manager.
Yeah.
So I think more high-flying DJ Uyunglele. I'm going to go DJ.
Can I just say, this is a little bit like the Pac-12 for me last year. I'm more intrigued by the ACC than I've been in a long time, because I think Miami's good enough to win it, Florida State's good enough to win it, Clemson's good enough to win it, and SMU's good enough to spoil it for a lot of people. I mean, I think you got 4 interesting teams there, and then you've got some other mid-tier teams.
Yeah, I
that
do
can
think
spring
the
it up
ACC is better than it's been in a long time.
Yeah.
And I think teams like Virginia Tech and Georgia
That's
Tech
right.
are going to be really improved.
They're kind of in the SMU group, right? That they're
Yeah.
good enough to play spoiler, and if everything goes right for a Virginia Tech or an SMU, they could potentially play for the conference championship.
And we're going to do something later in the show off of win totals. 5 teams that we think have the biggest increase in win totals, and I'm interested to see if any ACC schools make y'all's list. We'll do that a little bit later.
I'm going to
in the
go
show.
Cade Klubnik, though.
You will go Cade?
Klubnik?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
I just think Clemson, if I leaned, like right now, I would say Clemson, Miami, Florida State, they're all right there, but I've just got this feeling it's going to be Clemson and Miami this year. I mean, I think Florida State is not going to be as good as they were last year.
So you think 12 maybe is a little too high for Florida
I think 12
State.
is too high, yes.
Oh, interesting.
Second down.
More wins this year, Florida State or Browns Miami Dolphins?
I knew it was coming.
I'm going to go Miami, the Dolphins.
Again, I think Miami can get 11 or 12, and I think that's more than Florida State. Yeah. So these questions are hard for me, but I think Miami can I mean, they had 11 last year.
Yeah, I'm going to go 10-9 Dolphins.
Okay, you think Miami takes a game back?
I think Florida State's 9-3 this year. Okay. I know a lot of people disagree with that.
Can I ask you that about Miami? The Dolphins, is it because Aaron Rodgers, if he's healthy, you think
I think it's a three-way race in the AFC East. I have no idea. Right now, I don't feel great saying the Dolphins are going to win it. I don't say great the Bills or the Jets.
Of those three.
But I think all three are playoff teams.
But when you say of those three, it feels like the Bills are taking the most obvious step back. And Miami could be about what they were last year and still get 10 wins.
I mean, the Jets can be scary, though. 7 wins last year.
Yeah, without Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
Really good defense. Breece Hall's still with him, right?
Yep.
Breece Hall's a running back.
Phenomenal defense.
Yeah.
That defense, trust me, I get to see Miami against it twice. They make it messy for you.
And then Aaron Rodgers, if he just improves that offense, could be a dangerous team. And Patriots are a crap show,
Third down.
Oh, let's go George Michael. The
sports machine or the singer?
Would have been 61 today.
Right. Would you tell me before you give me the answer? A little underrated, right?
George Michael?
For that period in time, good music, right?
He probably had 5 number ones,
so
I'm guessing.
Faith, Father Figure.
Careless Whisper.
One More Try.
And something about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about sex.
Salt and pepper.
Is that not George Michael?
No, it's Salt and Pepper.
That's Salt and Pepper?
It's not even
No,
close
he had
to
the one sex song.
I Want Your Sex.
I Want Your Sex.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a different song.
We can talk about it, but I want it.
The Salt and Pepper are only willing to have a conversation on
but
it.
I would
George
say his over-under for number one hits would be 5.5, 4.5, 5.5.
Yeah.
I'll say it's right at 5.
So who do I compare him to?
So we're going George Michael or the late comedian George Carlin.
George Carlin.
George Carlin's iconic, right?
Yeah.
What? I mean, George Michael, pretty
Was good,
iconic.
But didn't Carlin change the way stand-up comedy, or was that Richard? Was it Carlin and then Richard Pryor, or were they both different lanes?
They were both. Carlin was the one that just spoke. It's just weird. It's almost like he preached. He didn't really do comedy. Like he had all these opinions that he would make kind of funny, but it wasn't like this guy. He's doing impressions because he started off with the Johnny Carson show with the little meteorologist he would do. He was the first person to host Saturday Night Live. I mean, he did a bajillion HBO specials. I mean, Carlin's incredible.
Yeah, I'd go Carlin. I think Richard Pryor
was the voice of Fillmore on Cars. I mean, come on.
I think Richard Pryor changed the genre more than anybody.
George Michael, 10 number ones in the U.S. and 13 in the UK. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Let me ask you a question about George Michael. I
guarantee you money's not even close.
What did Andrew Ridgeley do after Wham? After he left Wham, did Andrew Ridgeley do anything?
I think he was selling insurance.
Well, there's a documentary that I haven't watched on Wham. It's it might be a George Michael or it's a Wham documentary, but it's on Netflix. So I guess it would probably tell the story of Andrew Ridgeley.
Yeah. So, but basically he disappeared. So that tells you Wham was all George Michael, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, but I'm still going to go George Carlin. I think.
What was the best Wham song?
Wake Me Up Before You Go.
Yeah, probably.
Wake Me Up Before You Go.
Jitterbug.
Fourth down.
What a weird start to that song, though.
Ricky Gervais, 63 today. Better career, Ricky Gervais or Ricky Henderson?
I heard a great Ricky Henderson story over the weekend.
Can't hear enough.
On TikTok. I know. It was Will Clark was telling it, too.
I'm going to go Ricky Henderson. Tell us the story.
So Will Clark said, we were in spring training, and he said, Ricky Henderson was always known for talking about himself in third person, and everybody in the major leagues knew it. He goes, so he gets on first, and he says, thrill, Ricky about to steal second. And he goes, I look in the A's dugout, and they're giving him the hold sign because McGuire and Canseco are behind him, and they want them to get swings, right? So they need Ricky to stay on first. And Will says, Ricky, they're telling you not to steal. He goes, he said, Will, Ricky, don't listen to them. Because so first pitch, Ricky takes off, and he goes easily steals second. And he goes from second base. He spins around and goes, "Thrill! Ricky told you he was going to steal second."
That's so good. You know, and Klatt's got an outstanding Ricky Henderson story as well.
Yeah,
isn't he still holds the single season record, even though we've changed the game so much?
Yeah.
Ricky Henderson.
I thought Vince Coleman did.
Did he? I thought Ricky.
but I
no,
could be
Ricky's
wrong.
career.
Ricky's got career.
Yeah. But you think Coleman is the single season?
He might be. I'll look it up.
I mean, you know, because I don't know if it's Dela Cruz or somebody's, you know, is going to get close to the record this year, but even with the bigger bases and the limited throwovers, I don't think he's going to break the record.
Yeah. Ricky Henderson had 130?
Yeah.
In a season?
Because Ricky didn't look into the dugout.
Ricky did not. Ricky did not care. Yeah, Ricky,
Gervais is fantastic.
Yeah, I like Gervais. He makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
The bit he did with, and I showed it to Lance, he had never seen it, the bit he does with Liam Neeson. Have you seen that, Rockstar?
Yeah, that's on Life is Short.
Yeah.
Life's Too Short with Warwick Davis.
Where Liam Neeson wants to do improv comedy, and he's workshopping
So
with Ricky
good.
Gervais. I could watch that 1,000 times and laugh at the same places every single time.
In 1887, Hugh Nickel for the Cincinnati Red Stockings stole 138.
The old Red Stockings.
And don't really remember.
I don't remember Hugh Nickel.
130, man. That is insane.
I'll go Ricky Gervais.
I'm going to go Ricky Henderson. And that's our 4 downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations. The original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, and now the newest location in Edgewood. Get in to see the Bajalia Brothers, local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
A couple of weeks ago, when it was just when you guys were on vacation, Rockstar and I, you should have seen us every day off the top of our head trying to remember all 5 locations. We'd be like, did we say Vestavia?
He said Lakeshore 7 times.
Lakeshore?
I said Lakeshore instead of Lakeview a couple of times. He'd be like, Lakeview.
Can you imagine people driving down Lakeshore looking at Lakeview?
Raleigh? I mean, is this a Raleigh good place to eat pizza?
And of course, out on Long Island as you head to the Hamptons.
I think Slice would work anywhere.
It would. Great folks at Slice. When we come back, Clay Travis from Omaha. How obnoxious can Clay be after a national championship? We've never had the experience on the show.
Rhetorical question.
That's coming up on the other side of the show, being brought to you by our friends at Precision Sports. Get back in the game, get back to life after you've injured yourself being the weekend warrior. Whatever goes on in your life, maybe it's just as you get a little bit older, you have some orthopedic problems. Not sports related. They take care of that too. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, 205-512-3885, 512-3885, precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Part of the Brookwood Baptist Health family. They've got locations from Jasper to Alabaster and all over the Birmingham metro area. Dr. P and the fine folks at the Alabaster location is where I go. They've helped me with problems. They'll diagnose, they'll treat, and they'll help you in the rehab. It's Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Orthopedic care better together. 205-512-3885 or precisionsportsortho.com/2024.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or the Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe, the choice is yours.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We'll tell you about all our great sponsors that bring you this hour of the show after we talk to Clay Travis. For the first time since I've known Clay, his team is on top of the sports world as national champion. And I don't think it happens. What is it, Hunter Inslee, the kid that made the slide?
Yeah, have you ever seen a slide decide a game? I think it did last night.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have come down to that.
It should not have, but it did.
It looked like that was just adding to what was going to be, kind of a runaway game 3.
Yeah.
But that slide was incredible.
Yeah, so good that they keep replaying it on the MLB Network this morning. They're not showing anything of the game. They're just talking about maybe one of the greatest slides in baseball history.
Well, so Clay Travis is with us, founder of Outkick, at Clay Travis on Twitter, with Tennessee's, subpar athletic history. Clay, that's got to be the greatest play in Tennessee history, that slide at home.
Well, given that you guys are a basketball school now, I give you credit for paying attention to baseball at all. For all the Alabama fans out there, I can't even imagine what it's like waking up this morning with Tennessee national champions and a better football program. So maybe that women's softball win, I give you guys credit. I mean, Bama's a women's softball school, so that is always an illustrious accomplishment. I think I was thinking about greatest slides ever.
Okay.
And I think it's not just the slide. And I'm not talking about sliding into an athlete's DM and getting pregnant. Which is probably the greatest. I'm talking about when I think about great slides. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan now, but Sid Bream to win the NL. I think a lot of you remember that was at 91, 92, whatever it was. After a long decades of futility for Atlanta, it was like that Sid Bream slide, sort of rocked the entire baseball landscape, and obviously the Braves are in many ways the default Major League Baseball team of the SEC. It's like the one thing that SEC fans by and large seem to agree on is that the Braves are awesome. You go to any game, you see a lot of different SEC gear, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, obviously otherwise at each other's throats, all rooting for the Braves. But I mean, as I think LT was saying, I mean, it shouldn't have come down to it. But that was the last run scored. It actually was a play that won Tennessee the national championship. And I can't think of very many home plate plays where when you go back and look at it, you say, hey, that was a championship winning slide, dodge, whatever you want to call it. One of my buddies said, hey, maybe Moore will go paint a portrait of this one so Tennessee fans can hang it up. But I mean, that's how I think iconic that was. And then he punctuated it with the helmet spike, which makes it even more, I think, kind of badass in the way that it went down. And obviously the review, which it's clear that, you needed to review that if you're A&M, given the significance of that play. But the fact that the review also, meant that everybody watched it that many more times than they otherwise would have. and you could see how clearly he avoided the tag and wasn't hit at all. Just really kind of a incredible win. I think Tony Vitello obviously is a phenomenal coach, incredible hire, and I really do think. I mean, I think Tennessee's going to be very good in football, basketball. They're going to be top 10 caliber again. So everything kind of firing on all cylinders right now for Tennessee athletics.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that with both Rick Barnes and Josh Heupel in the house last night. I mean, do you, as far as being a Tennessee fan with Vitello, is this the best three across the board you can remember together?
I think so. I mean, we'll see. I mean, Heupel has won 11 games. He's still relatively early in his head coaching career. But I think if you looked at, men's coaches in college sports, that trio, assuming that Tennessee comes out and wins 9 or 10 games this year, which I think they will, that trio is pretty tough to beat. I mean, Rick Barnes has got, 800 career wins, college basketball. The question and knock on him is going to be, how many more years is he going to do it? But he's got one of the greatest resumes. Obviously doesn't have that national title, but one of the greatest resumes in college basketball coaching history. And even the knock on Rick Barnes, he can't win in the tournament. I think he's had pretty good tournament runs at this point at Tennessee. I mean, he hasn't had total flameouts. He's had disappointing results, but I mean, coming off an Elite Eight, a couple of Sweet 16s, and a couple of SEC championships. So I think that's really good. Again, Heupel remains to be seen. I think if Vitello stays at Tennessee, and he's still a relatively young guy, he's single. So he may get opportunities elsewhere. Although it's interesting, you don't usually see college baseball coaches go, for instance, to the major leagues. Like you might see a college football coach go to the NFL or a college basketball coach go to the NBA. Good question for you guys. I mean, I can't remember the last time, if it's ever happened, that a college baseball coach has moved to Major League Baseball. So I think it kind of changes the dynamics. Tennessee's putting $100 million into the stadium. I don't think he'll leave, but he's a single guy. Who knows? Maybe he decides at some point he wants a new challenge.
I don't think he can make that much in the major leagues. Like those managers don't get paid. We heard yesterday $4 million might be the number.
Yeah, that's from Trey. Trey Wallace said he's heard as much as $4 million.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think Tennessee will make Tony Vitello the highest paid college baseball coach in the country, and I don't even know what the highest paid college baseball coach in the country is. $2.5–3 million maybe. I mean, they certainly can justify it. Given the attendance and the growth of what they're going to be able to produce in revenue with Lindsey Nelson Stadium when they get it all done. Like I said, $100 million renovation. I think also this is just a sign, and I don't know how much you guys follow it. I think partly it's a function of the calendar, and there's not necessarily a ton of sports competition out there. I think college baseball just continues to grow in popularity. I mean, I haven't seen the numbers on how many people watch this A&M Tennessee series, but I would think 2.5–3 million people, and that's getting up into some pretty big numbers in terms of viewership. It's not college basketball, it's not college football, but the top NBA regular season games don't draw that many viewers, and I think there's increasingly more and more people paying attention. And I think the fact that 5 SEC teams have won in the last 5 years means more and more fan bases are getting vested interest in paying attention. The fact that Tennessee's the first number 1 seed to win in 25 years means if your team makes it to the tournament, you feel like your team might have a chance. I mean, look at Ole Miss a couple of years ago, kind of came out of nowhere and won it. So your team can get hot. It's a little bit like the NCAA basketball tournament, but I just think the drama on these games is really pretty incredible.
Does Vitello get paid extra explaining to Heupel and Barnes what the paper falling from the sky is, the confetti?
Well, I mean, again, as a women's softball school,
your boy Trey sent a picture. Your boy Trey sent a picture of Peyton Manning, Rick Barnes, and Morgan Wallen. He said Peyton, Morgan, and Rick walk into a bar, and I put Morgan throws a chair and knocks Rick Barnes out before the third round of drinks.
Oh. Here is the other question for you. Name a more famous athlete-celebrity duo that you have seen at a school event, college, than Morgan Wallen and Peyton Manning.
Honest to goodness, Clay, I think Morgan Wallen was at a lot of Alabama games when Tennessee was really struggling.
That probably had to do with the co-eds as much as it did Alabama.
Didn't we have like LeBron and Alex Rodriguez at a Bama LSU game?
Yeah, but you're talking have an attachment to that school. Those guys were just there as fans.
Look,
yeah,
I will vouch for. I know Morgan. I will vouch for him. He is a monster Tennessee fan. Like,
no doubt,
now,
no doubt.
I'm not saying if I were a major country music singer and I could go around to SEC games and make out with co-eds and bars all the time like he did. I mean, that's one of the funniest stories ever. Do you guys remember that, right?
Saturday Night Live
did a spoof on it.
Yeah, during COVID, they kicked him off Saturday Night Live, and it only helped his fame because everybody was like, yeah, good for him. You know, it's like, so I'm sure, you know, he's got like a lot of these guys, you know, Kenny Chesney's best friends with every SEC football coach when he becomes famous. I'm sure Morgan is good friends, and I know he is, with a bunch of different SEC coaches and probably a lot of different SEC
hey, get him and Kiffin together, right?
Yeah, can you imagine his LT rolling into any college town with Morgan Wallen's phone bank? You know, he probably has a pretty good time. Maybe all-time list for Morgan Wallen. But the combo of that, I mean, I think Tennessee's just starting to get things rolling. I think Danny White, the AD, deserves quite a lot of credit. I mean, I think he's put in place a good overall structure. Revenues rolling in, you know, sellouts in Neyland. They've got the season ticket numbers sold out. They got the season ticket numbers sold out at Thompson Bowling. Question for Rick Barnes, same question Rick Barnes had his whole career. Can he ever get over the proverbial hump and win a title? We'll see. If he's got 4 or 5 years left, I think, you know, Tennessee will be a top 10 caliber team most of those years. And then for Heupel, I mean, you know, can he make the playoff? And certainly he would have easily been in the playoff a couple of years ago. And, I mean, I'm already looking ahead at the schedule. To me, there are 3 really challenging games. Now, there's obviously landmine games. NC State, for instance, is a landmine game for Tennessee where they're playing a neutral site game. NC State's not awful. I think that's a 5 or 6 point line. But if you told me right now in the SEC, I think the playoff comes down to Oklahoma, which I think is at Oklahoma, which is effectively a coin flip game. Huge one for Heupel. He's got a lot of bitterness over the way that situation ended at Oklahoma. You got Alabama, which obviously, since you're a women's softball school, I expect Tennessee to win. And then you're probably going to lose at Georgia. So really, that Alabama-Oklahoma swing, you got to win one of those 2. And if you do, then I think Tennessee will be in the playoff. As long as assume a loss at Georgia, if you split with Oklahoma, Bama, you're in the playoff.
In all seriousness, I love the video of you buying Jell-O shots. Where did that end up? And did you have to buy more last night?
Well, this is my kids have camps, so I had to come back Sunday night. So I was not in Omaha Monday. I was there Saturday. Yeah, I know. I was there Saturday and Sunday. So I bought 1,000 Jell-O shots on Sunday night after Tennessee won Game 2. And that, if you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Omaha before. Rocco's there is quite the scene, and there were a ton. I don't know what the final tally has ended up being, but Tennessee fans were consuming a massive amount of alcohol, and it was really fun. So I just rolled in, bought 1,000 Jell-O shots for the bar, and I think a lot of people had a better time than they otherwise would have.
I've never been to the College World Series. Dunaway has. You haven't been to the new stadium.
I haven't been since they moved to the new stadium.
I've been to Omaha, though, in the area where that new stadium is. It is really cool. I mean, there's several good steakhouses there. I imagine the bar scene's incredible. I mean, it is actually – I've never heard anybody that went that said, don't waste your time. Anybody that's ever gone says, you got to go do this.
And is Rocco's near the stadium, Clay? Is it across the street from the stadium?
It's like a block and a half away. So, I mean, you can literally be standing in there, doing Jell-O shots, drinks, whatever else, and then, walk into the stadium and be in 5 minutes. So, I mean, it's very, very close. And it is. Omaha, I would say, rolls out the red carpet for visiting fans. It's not a huge-sized city. And obviously you got 8 different fan bases that are rolling in, and the challenge is they don't know exactly when they're leaving, right? So all that factors in, but it is it's a lot of fun, and I would encourage anybody who has the opportunity to go to put it on the bucket list. It's a very cool experience.
All right, he is Clay Travis, founder of Outkick, at Clay Travis on Twitter. Congrats to your Vols, Clay. Thank you very much for the time.
Yeah, and congrats to the Alabama women's softball program. I mean, you guys are really doing some work there.
Thank you, Clay. Take care. Clay with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I mean, you would think Tennessee had beaten Alabama last year. Alabama actually won the football game. It's like Clay. I think we let him slide on this I think because Tennessee had the lead in the first half. I think in last week's appearance, Clay said Tennessee is now, this is the most loser comment ever, Tennessee's won 6 of the last 8 quarters against Alabama.
Boy, that is a deep dive there. But can you imagine if Heupel does win a national championship, how obnoxious Clay's going to be?
If Heupel does?
Yeah.
Do you think Heupel wins a national championship?
I don't know. I think Heupel's a good coach, really good offensive coach. I think they're going to be good this year. I mean, I could see them, would not surprise me at all if they're in the college football playoff.
I have doubted him since day one, as you guys know. Yeah. And I mean, a couple of years ago, I thought, well, obviously he's going to prove me wrong.
I mean, he won 9 games with an average quarterback last year.
I know. It's only getting tougher in the conference, though.
It is.
But it's probably, I mean, it's easier than it's ever been to make the playoffs from the SEC.
If Imaleva is the second best quarterback in the league this year, would you guys be shocked?
Not at all. Not at all.
College football is such a quarterback sport, right?
But I mean, it's not going to blow me away if he comes out and completely dominates, first year.
Yeah. Cam Newton was the best player on the field in 2010. Went all the way to a national championship. Dr. B brings us part of the show today. That is the folks that has LT's hair dialed back into his 20s and is working on Brown's hair right now. Dr. B doing great work up here on this desk.
Yeah.
But he can't do miracles.
Yes, that's right. Only God could do that one, right?
Somebody was asking me the other day, and I was like, as long as the hair follicle's not dead, but, the integrity of Dr. B is going to tell you that.
That's right.
I think he looked at Dunaway and he's like, ain't happening. But he took Brown in and he was like, we've got a shot here.
Yep.
Brown and I are doing the exact same treatment. It is the non-invasive 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time treatment on the couch. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness in the last couple of years. Call 205-319-0316. Dr. B pioneered the use of NeoGraft hair restoration right here in Alabama, remains at the forefront of hair preservation in the Southeast. He takes pride in treating each patient personally, applying his expertise to produce those quality results. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B and that great staff today. Schedule a consultation, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
All right, this has a little of an Inception feel to it, which is one of my favorite movies, Christopher Nolan movie, Inception.
I think I've seen it. Give me the premise of it again.
The premise is you can change. I don't even know how to describe it. You can
in different
deep
levels
dreams.
of dreams. I have to plant an idea in your head to make you think that you thought of it yourself, but I have to go into dreams, different levels of dreams to get you
all time related to
for Dunaway to act like I had this idea, but actually I implanted it.
Yeah, we
in
implanted it in a dream. So there's a way we can get into your dreams and plant an idea.
I thought it was good, but it was really confusing.
It is super deep. I mean, you have to several times stop and say, okay, let me remember where we are in the movie.
Okay, what's the movie where we're trying to defuse a bomb? We're a bomb squad. We're defusing a bomb. We're military people.
Hurt Locker.
Blown Away.
Hurt Locker. I get that. Okay. Inception and Hurt Locker.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know what they have in common, but so I am.
One's in the Middle East. Where is, I don't even know where Inception took place. Was it in Europe?
Different places.
Yeah, because I look like I don't know.
Ultimately, it takes place on a plane.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get down to it. Yeah, but the whole thing starts on a plane. Anyway, I have created a city in my dreams, and it's a recurring dream. I have
Legoland? Like you have your own city?
I have a recurring dream, and it's different dreams. It's just a recurring area. It's Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, but instead of what's around Mercedes-Benz, like just next to the stadium, there's a bit of an incline, a hill, and there's this great entertainment district on both sides of the street. Restaurants, bars.
Do you live there?
I don't live there, but I keep going to events there in my dream. And I'm just curious if anybody else has ever created a city in their dreams.
I'll tell you, my dreams are way too epic now, though. They last all night.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Even if you get up, you go back and you go back to the same dream.
I'm going back a lot to the same dream.
Are they bad dreams?
Sometimes.
They're not necessarily bad dreams, but, there were people out to kill me the other night, and they had taken, I had 2 bags. I was going somewhere. They had taken my bag, so I didn't have any clothes. except the clothes on my back. And I was trying to make it back to my old house in Homewood, where I grew up. It was really weird.
Okay.
But they're just long, drawn
Yeah, I just don't know if people create cities in their dreams. Like that city doesn't exist, but it's very vivid in my dream.
Is that not a game? What's the game called where you build cities?
Minecraft.
Well, there's Minecraft. There's all these.
Yeah, Sims.
Okay.
Talking about Sims. So you don't do this
White
either?
Shroot did Half-Life.
No, my dreams are like Maggie's chasing me, and we're running through a lot of doors in a house, and I keep shutting the door behind, like I'm trying to get away from her. And the rooms are very small, and there's just a lot of turns and doors and tight hallways. And
interesting. And Maggie's
Scooby-Doo episode.
That is a reoccurring dream. But I'm told that I can't dream the way you're describing. That I'm dreaming. I get up and go to pee or something, and then I come or get a drink of water, and then I go back to sleep, and I jump back into that dream. I'm told that can't happen, but.
See,
is it called lucid?
Are those lucid dreams? Is that what a lucid dream is?
I all the time I'm able to go back and
what's
pick
the
up
definition
the dream.
of a lucid
It's almost
dream?
like you pause the dream, you got up, went to the bathroom, and come back.
It's weird.
See, the thing about me is I don't get up at night, so mine never get interrupted, really. Lucid dreams, when you know you're dreaming while you're asleep, that's a lucid dream. See, I don't know that I'm dreaming.
Yeah, I've had those before. I've had the sleep paralysis one time, which was crazy.
When you wake up and can't move?
Yeah. I mean, you're asleep, but you can't wake up. And you're stuck.
That just
There's
sounds
a documentary on that right
is
now.
there?
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good.
But I've had dreams that are realistic enough that I have to gather myself afterwards and remind myself it's a dream. Like it's so realistic. I'll wake up, it wakes me up, and then I have to it's almost like an Inception. Well, where's your totem today, Lance? You didn't get it out the rim.
Oh, I know. I've got it on the desk. I need to go grab it.
It's like you have to grab something
This is reality.
To know it's reality. Yeah, that's right. We're in one of Lance's deep dreams. He doesn't have his totem, except I pointed it out.
I was going for this. We have
No, my kids gave me a hand-carved ram from Albuquerque for Father's Day.
It's an awesome Father's Day gift, and Lance has had it on the desk every show until today. Yeah. I just noticed it's not there, so this is not even really happening. This is Lance's dream.
Wow. This non-real part of our show brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. If you have real or no problems with your flowing, running, draining, all that stuff, Hemp Hill can help you out.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience the plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they're ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
So when we come back, we'll talk a little college football. Lane Kiffin has an amazing comment to Seth Emerson. And we'll talk about some win totals sliding a little bit in the upward direction from lower numbers to bigger numbers. How big of a jump could some teams make? The top 5 in our heads when we come back on the next round, being brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. They've got you in the chat room, mybookie.ag, promo code next round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Back with you on the next round. You know, Johnson RV Center, really great folks. We appreciate their friendship so much. I was just running through some old pictures on my vacation and went back to Talladega, was showing some of the pictures from there, and just loved our time out there with Nick and the folks from Johnson RV at Talladega earlier this year. They're perfect for the summer vacation. I keep seeing on my Instagram feed some of our viewers and listeners going up there buying new campers and tag-alongs and all that.
I-65 exit 304 and Coleman 334 indicator. They've repriced both those lots, so confident in their pricing that they will beat any price nationwide on a comparable RV. You bring them the price, they'll beat it. Like on this show, they love the United States military there. They know that the U.S. veteran and the active duty is the reason the United States is the greatest country in the universe. No question about it. So they give you a great discount. It's just a very small way of saying thank you for your service. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator. Find out about everything I've talked about at johnstonrvcenter.com.
I think it was LT that first got me to fall in love with the road uniform more than the home uniform. Like I was always a home uniform guy, and then other than LSU, I mean, their whites are better than their purples.
But that's their home uniform.
Yeah, but that is their home uniform. But then the appreciation for the road uniform, I think it was his. You told me USC's.
Yeah,
road
I think the
is
USC
better.
white jersey with the yellow pant is the best uniform. But I love Texas's all white. I like Tennessee's all whites. I like Bama's all white. Penn State's, Nebraska's.
Yeah, when Lance pointed, I'm with you. I never really gave it a ton of thought, but when Lance pointed it out, I was like, you know what? That road white is normally the cleanest, best-looking uniform a team has.
It was USC, actually, that I was like, oh, how can you like the white one better? And then I looked at it, and I was like, it does pop better with the helmet being the white uniform. Well, Ole Miss has a series of new whites that they're unveiling, and I think they've cleaned this up very nicely. The powder blue uniform there and the helmet, I don't know which one you like the best.
It's a great look.
It's their coldest combo, but they got the jersey spot on, I think. Don't you?
Yeah. It's got a little Houston Oilers to it. I know they're not going to get a cease and desist, but yeah, it does have a little Oilers in it.
I like the blue helmet white jersey. I don't like the as much. I still like
both,
it. But I like blue helmet white jersey.
But here's the problem. Can you get that helmet to match that blue color
it's gonna be tough.
using? It seems to be a little off.
Yep.
But is it a little off also with USC and the jersey? I don't think it is. I think they get that spot right.
It is. The Rams have always had, until the recent color scheme, the Rams always had a darker helmet than the blue on their jersey.
When you got matte paint and the color, it's just going to be tough to match it. Yeah.
But I think, good job by Lane or whoever's doing that at Ole Miss. The coldest combos in college football, they call it on their Twitter, but that's their whites this year, and that's a good look. And I saw someone reacting to that on Reddit College Football saying, Can't wait to see that road game Beaver Stadium in the playoffs this year. Maybe some snow falling, and we're wearing our all whites.
You could see it. I mean, that's certainly a potential matchup.
That'd be a nice matchup.
Of the SEC teams, Georgia is one I can think of that I probably like their home better than their away.
Yeah, silver breeches with the red
silver
jersey,
breeches
red
with the
helmet.
red over the silver breeches.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good look for Georgia, and it's better to me than their road
And
uniform.
as you said, LSU with the white jerseys.
Their home is
at
the
home.
white, yeah.
Yeah, I wish Texas A&M's uniforms were better. I wish Mississippi State's uniforms were better.
There's a common thread there.
Yeah, that color, yeah. But
No, that's not. That is a common thread, but that's not the thread I was talking about.
What is it?
And Arkansas is the same. Has been in the same boat as it's Adidas. Adidas does not get uniforms right. I don't know what they do, but Adidas does not get uniforms right. I mean, you tell me an Adidas uniform that you think is up there. Like Nike gets it right. I don't know why Nike and Jumpman.
UCLA used to be Adidas, right?
Yeah,
UCLA?
and so did
they-
Tennessee. Tennessee's jerseys were good with outside of the Adidas logo being on it.
Adidas messes it up. I don't know why they mess it up, but they mess up more uniforms than anybody. Nike generally gets it right.
Well, you guys jumped on the Adidas answer.
That's right.
I didn't know all the Adidas hate was out there. Quickly
I don't
on the
hate
chat room.
Adidas. I mean, their gear is fine. I'm just saying they screw up uniforms for some reason.
Okay, so I asked the guys about win totals from a certain level, and I'll just use, let's say your team had 6 wins last year. You think they can get 9 this year. That's a +3 on win totals. And we'll do the opposite side of this tomorrow on who drops the most. And I asked the guys 5 teams that you think their win total improves the most this year. Brownie,
yep.
Show me what you have to start things off today. 5 teams that you think the win total jumps up this year.
I have got 4 teams that I think increase by 3 wins. What color you want, Lance? You want black?
Black's fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
We got black. I got 4 teams that jump by 3 games, and then I've got a 4-game jump in there as well.
Oh, see, I couldn't find anybody I thought jumped 4. And LT, I'll tell you one thing. I told Brown before the show. I said, in my head, I looked at everybody's record last year, and I was like, that's pretty much how I think they finished this
That's
year.
about where they are, huh?
Except for some who fall
I
way
thought we
off.
were just so it's got to be three or more wins.
No. It's just any win total.
improvement. Okay,
That's
any
like improvements
Okay,
in
yeah.
college football.
Yeah.
So give me your list, Brown.
All right, so I'm going to unveil them all at the same time here. I think BYU, Auburn, Utah, and Miami all improved by 3. BYU was a 5-loss team last year. I think they can at least get to 8 wins in the Big 12 this year. Auburn is the one that is, I can't decide if I'm 8 or 9 on Auburn, but I went ahead and put them at 9. Utah was an 8-win team. I think Utah can get to 11 wins this year.
Wow.
Miami was a 7-win team. I think Miami can get to 10 wins this year.
Wow.
And then Nebraska is a 4-win team from last year. I think Nebraska can get to 8 wins.
Were they 4 or 5? I think they were 5.
They might have been 5.
They were
Either way,
5.
is this regular season only? Am I getting bowl games here too?
Regular season only.
Regular season. I'm going to stick with Nebraska.
Yeah, +4.
Yeah, +4 for Nebraska.
Surprising, Brownie, that couple on
We
your,
had some crossover?
Yeah, on your list, my list as well.
And mine.
And Lance's as I'm looking now.
Yeah. I will tell you, for me, Nebraska was the first one I thought of from 5 to 8, and I went +3 there. But I couldn't find anybody I thought that went +4.
Yeah, I put Nebraska at 9 wins. That's why I had them +4, yeah.
And I think 9's realistic.
Well, it is.
But looking at their schedule, I had them at +3. I think TCU is you get a little Big 12, by the way, in mine. TCU, a 5 to 8 for me is a possible jump. That's still a talented roster, and I think they get a little bit better this year. A couple of 3-win teams just to get bowl eligible.
I thought about Baylor.
Baylor 3 to 6. I think Baylor improves in the new Big 12. Pittsburgh 3 to 6, +3 there. And then I'm with you. I go Utah 8 to 11.
Well, I mean, Utah
+3.
was 8 wins because their starting quarterback was supposed to be back every week, and he never was.
Yeah.
And I am going to assume he's back.
He is back.
I mean, I kept hearing that last year, but I think it's real this year, right?
Yeah, he is back.
So I'm going to say Cam Rising is back. Cam Rising is playing, and that is going to be the difference for Utah in at least 3 games.
Yeah. So LT, give us your list there.
Well, a lot of mine's year 2 stuff. I mean, you look at Hugh Freeze. I think in year 2, I think he is going to go from 6 to 9 wins. I think Auburn's going to be really good this year.
I had them 6 to 8, so they didn't make my top 5.
It was going to be 8 or 9.
That's a tough one.
Miami, I've got them from 7 to 10. You've got an elite quarterback. You have 0 zero excuses. And I also believe Damian Martinez in that backfield is going to be huge for the Hurricanes. Nebraska, if you look at Matt Rule, what he's done, Temple from 2 wins in year 1 to 6 wins plus 4. Even better from Baylor, 1 win to 7 wins plus 6. And Nebraska, 5 wins. I'm going to take it to 7 just because the schedule still is difficult. Utah with Cam Rising back, I think that says it all, 8 to 10. And then Virginia Tech with 21 returning starters. I think they're going to be sneaky good this year. I've got them from 7 to 9.
I thought about Virginia Tech, but then the only reason I put Virginia Tech is I'm wondering how much you've influenced me on that, because you've said a lot about Virginia Tech. You think it's a rebound year for them.
That's what I was about to ask, is what are you seeing, the returning starters? Is what you're seeing.
And you know, Drones ended up being a really good quarterback at the end of the year, but I mean, you got 21 returning, and the way they closed out the season, I think Virginia Tech's going to be good.
Okay, who do you hate off of Brown's list? Let's as Nancy taught me way back years ago, Rockstar's wife.
Blow holes.
Let's blow some holes into
the
this.
only one, BYU. I just don't know how good BYU is going to be.
Well, they were a 5-win team. I think Kalani Sitake, by and large, has been an 7-8 win
check out
coach.
that schedule.
Well, it's a Big 12 schedule.
Yeah, and and to Andy Staples' point with us earlier, you can get it wherever you get a podcast, including Spotify and at Apple. There's a lot of cannibalism that could happen in the Big 12. There are a lot of teams that are alike, it seems.
Here you go. If you want to do the schedule, let's just do it real quick. Southern Illinois, they win. They're at SMU. That is a tough game for them.
Yep.
But not
they're going to be underdogs.
Not a guaranteed
Let's
loss.
just go with underdogs.
Right.
So 1-1.
At Wyoming.
They're 2-1.
Kansas State, they probably lose.
Yep, 2-2.
At Baylor, I think they win.
It's a tricky game.
Yeah, it's a tricky game. Bye week, Arizona at home.
We'll give them a win, 4-2.
Oak State at home, tough game.
I think that's a loss, 4-3.
At Central Florida.
4-4.
At Utah after a bye.
4-5.
Kansas at home.
Oof.
It's a tough game.
I would say 4-6. I think they'll be an underdog.
At Arizona State, I think is a win.
I think it's a win.
Houston
5.
at home, I would give them a win. That's only 6.
Yeah,
I mean,
6 and 6.
I fall short there.
Yeah.
I mean, I had them fighting 2 more
but
wins.
But who knows?
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, and that's what the Big 12 is going to be this year. You said the Big 12 was the don't erase that. We're going to got to give that to a little T here in a little bit. The big. You said the ACC was intriguing to you.
It is more than ever.
The Big 12 could be equally as fun.
Oh yeah,
this
but
year.
it's always been fun. You know, I've always enjoyed watching the Big 12. It's been a competitive league, you know, and it will remain that way. I was just making the point that last year was the most I've enjoyed the Pac-12, maybe in my entire life.
Yeah, I mean, it was to me the best. Best overall top to bottom season we've had.
And I think the ACC, probably not to that level, but has got a chance to be similar to that.
Yeah, and we also knew the Pac-12 was going out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was part of it.
You know.
But it was entertaining. I mean, Washington was good. Oregon was good. USC they weren't good, but they were good at the start and they weren't good at the end. I mean, you just
Arizona on a given
Arizona
night could beat anybody.
Yeah, super surprising. Yeah. Utah was a little bit disappointing because of Cam Rising.
Washington State with Cam Ward was
That's right, was good. I mean, it was just a fun conference.
And I'm hoping we'll get some of that Big 12 excitement late night that sort of fills the the Pac-12 after dark. Tomorrow, we'll take the reverse of this. Win totals that were high, the biggest drops in win totals. We'll knock that out for you tomorrow here on the show.
BYU should never. I would say BYU and Utah should never play a day game.
All their games.
I like
should be
BYU day games.
I don't. I like BYU night games. I've always liked.
I like a 2:30 BYU game. That's a beautiful stadium.
Is it because you can see the mountains?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a gorgeous stadium. But I always. It felt like when I was growing up, when the Detmers were there, Lavelle Edwards was the famous coach. You got a lot of 9 o'clock ESPN BYU kicks. And it would be like you've watched the SEC all day and maybe some Big Ten. And then here we go. Let's go out west to BYU, and anything can happen. They could score 70 points tonight. BYU is next. And San Diego State when Marshall Faulk was there, but that was more just about Marshall Faulk. But BYU played a lot of night games. I just always like watching a BYU night game.
No, it was fun to watch, but I'm with LT. I like seeing the mountains, the beautiful setting of that stadium there. Maybe it's early evening. Can we go early evening?
Start with the sunset? Yeah. Like the Rose Bowl, we'll focus on the sunset?
Yeah, it'll be really good. All right. Show being brought to you by Lanyas. One more thing, what Lane Kiffin said to the Athletics, Seth Emerson, after LT tells us about a long-time staple when it comes to furniture here in the state of Alabama. It's Lanyas furniture.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're buying out there, living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, entertainment, mattresses, Lanyas, they've got it all, and they've got great pricing, quality stuff from our friends, sizzling savings on summer styles from Lanyas. They've got that 3-week event going on right now, store-wide savings driven by hot buys with price and products to play on the summer theme. Transfer your home into a beautiful escape landscape with new furniture and decor pieces, from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Lanyas has everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Bring the sun inside with Lanyas Furniture. Save up to 10% off store-wide or special financing, plus tons of hot buys throughout the store. From Birmingham, take exit 280 right off of I-65, the Hallmark Farms exit. Go south on U.S. Highway 31 for 1.3 miles. It's going to be right there on your right. Go see John, Reggie, the fine folks there. For more information, you can always call them 205-647-4311. It's our friends at Lanyas Furniture.
In The Athletic, Seth Emerson talking about NIL, the new era of unlimited transfer, which would allow a player to move from team to team every year and rework NIL deals every year, basically becoming a free agent every year. Lane Kiffin says, this is quote, Lane Kiffin, the current system probably benefits us as much as any school in America. And I'm telling you, it's a horrible system. So what does that tell you? That's what Lane Kiffin's quote to Seth Emerson. We benefit from this more than anyone. And it's a horrible system. I can tell you it's horrible because we benefit from it.
Refreshingly honest from Lane Kiffin. I'll say that. And, he gets tagged with immature a lot. I think that's kind of a mature, honest stance. Is like, nobody's going to benefit it more than me, but it ain't good for the sport. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Yeah, I think most coaches don't think it's good for the sport, or almost all coaches.
I would agree. He goes on to say, because of what we are at Ole Miss, we benefit from this more than anyone else. But the fact that you could come play at Alabama 1 year and then be able, after 1 year, renegotiate and come play for me at Ole Miss isn't right. Or from us at Ole Miss to Alabama, it isn't right to be held. He doesn't know the answer, but he's going to play the game as long as he can.
So I maintain that players becoming employees will clean a lot of this up. They're going to sign contracts to play for the school. And once you sign a 3-year contract,
it'll be more black and white, no doubt.
You're not going to be able to say, I'm under a 3-year contract with Alabama, but I'm going to go play at Ole Miss. And Alabama's going to say, no, you're not. You're under a contract with me. Now, I do think it may not be player trades, but I think, there'll be a way perhaps you could move, but Alabama would get some compensation for that. Maybe not a player, but maybe Ole Miss has to pay Alabama X amount of dollars to buy out the player's contract.
Yeah.
But I think this will clean a lot of that up.
Little NIL money back
to Alabama. And, if Alabama realizes, look, this kid is disgruntled, even if we keep him under contract and pay him, we're not going to get a ton out of him. We can let him go to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss will give us $2 million. I think you'll see that. Yeah. So I think that will clean some of that up, honestly.
I sort of like this newer, mature,
Lane Kiffin.
The aging Lane Kiffin.
He'll do something completely immature next week.
I don't think he's all there yet.
Yeah. All right. More from Tennessee's national championship win. If you're a Tennessee fan, you missed Clay earlier. You can get that wherever you get our podcast. Don't forget, a new Pennant Grace is out there. It's live every Monday and Thursday, but you can catch the episodes at your convenience on Tuesdays and Fridays as well, where they discuss, among other things, Nacho Alvarez, the big AAA shortstop, Emily Grace McWhorter. EG has a deep thought on whether the Braves should move Nacho up to the major league level. That new episode's wherever you get the Pennant Grace. Like and subscribe there. The Meltdown guys back with you later today, always Monday through Friday at 2 Central. And Taylor Korn working on a new uncorked mailbag right now. All that available wherever you get our show. Also at Disrupt the Media. Go follow there. Look for the icon here on the YouTube channel Next Round down below. Hit that icon, whether it's the Meltdown Uncorked, the Pennant Grace, or, of course, Roll Tide Pods and War Damn Pods. It's all there for you at your convenience, and you can enjoy that. When we come back, a little NFL conversation. The CBS Sports has ranked the top running backs in the NFL going into 2024. How important are these players, and does any of these top running backs win the Super Bowl this year? Is it important enough to have a running back to be Super Bowl champion? Wasn't last year with Kansas City. We'll talk about that next when we come back on TNR.
Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or michelson.laservision.com.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. Bentbrook.com. Bentbrook.com.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Our Odie's sound of the day comes from Tony Vitello. Really a great scene last night. Whether you like Tony or you don't, or whether you're a Tennessee fan or not, whether you were cheering for him or for the Aggies last night, seeing his dad there, and then Tony going over and hugging him afterwards. And that scene right there was just really amazing. Father-son combination there. His dad was a longtime baseball coach, and Tony now takes it to another level as a national champion. And he talked about winning that national title with Tennessee last night.
Just very surreal. Hard to center yourself, which is a good thing. Being lost in the moment, I guess. Nothing too intelligent to say, other than the first thing to say is I hope the fans that have turned this into an insane party, an insane event, got the series that they wanted and that they deserved. It clearly could have been either team's trophy tonight, so congrats to Texas A&M. No better team to win for University of Tennessee than a bunch of guys that were truly the definition of a team, and no better play for our program to, I think, be the winning run on that slide. A guy that's just built with a ton of grit, and his teammates follow his leadership, and it's a great example of how this group got things done.
The Hunter Inslee slide there is what he's talking about.
I know he's a dislike guy, but that's the guy you want as your manager.
Yeah, he's a dislike guy, Lance, but we talked about the when he talked about the Evansville player. Like, he's disliked, but then there's times you look at him and you're like, I kind of like that part.
I think he's great on the microphone.
Yeah.
No, his interview last night was about to be epic with, was it Chris Budden? Is that who was on the field? And then they dunked him. and the interview got interrupted, but it was on the way to being an epic interview. I felt bad for Chris Button because he had one.
Talking about his dad, I told him to rub some dirt on it. He's crying.
I know. And then right in the middle of that answer, he gets dunked, and we never get to hear the rest of the answer. But it was going to be a good interview.
Then he started eating that W like Jameis Winston, grabbing that ice off the ground and eating it and throwing it. Really good scene there. Look at him eating that up.
Yeah. He had already dropped the S-bomb live on ESPN, and it was about to talk about his dad and get emotional, you could tell, and then it got interrupted.
He got nothing on J.J. Redick yesterday.
That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. Imagine if you were KTLA or whatever, the local station carrying the J.J. Redick news conference yesterday. Another win last night was the Florida Panthers, and Forrester has video. The Stanley Cup goes a lot of places, and when you win it in Florida, where does it go? It goes in the ocean.
Oh, wow.
Out at South Beach, the Stanley Cup. The team is out there. And
the team has not been to sleep either, I guarantee you.
No.
Yeah, this is a continuation of the party.
Right there off that shoreline, I saw a video of probably about an 8 to 10 foot shark yesterday in that shallow of water.
Look at that thing floating in the ocean, the Stanley Cup. That can't be good for it, saltwater.
That is a cool tradition that you get it for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And that's the captain, I assume. He gets it first?
I guess. I don't really know.
Yeah. So there you go.
In the ocean. That cannot be good for sterling silver, right?
Yep.
Tell
us about Odie's LT, the sound and video of the day from Tony Vitello and the Volunteers national champs and the Florida Panthers floating the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, we'll be out there tomorrow night. Brown's going to join us tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I mentioned something a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's quite right. Yeah. I'm 100% in, Lance.
So me, Brown, Rocky, we'll get there a little before 8 o'clock. We'll go off a little after 8 o'clock. But Odie's Team Trivia, we do it every Wednesday night. The original location in Crestline. Get there early, enjoy some great food. Rodney Davis has been doing it for more than 33 years. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, salads, corn dogs, whatever you want, they've got it. The newest location right there in Edgewood on the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Ice cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. It is Odie's Tavern.
Am I in for you or Will?
You are in for Will.
Okay. All right.
Do you have to have an elite running back to win the NFL Super Bowl? I think I know the answer.
Not at all.
No.
In fact, you can have 2 or 3 average. I mean, I think the Chiefs have proven that, right?
Who was their running back?
Pacheco.
Yeah. A kid out of Rutgers. I don't even know if he was drafted.
I don't know. I mean,
do you guys know who the second leading rusher was last year in the NFL?
The second leading rusher?
Yeah.
Was it Lamar Jackson?
No.
He wouldn't have got that much.
He was probably down like 15 or 20.
Stupid answer.
It was Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams of the Rams?
Rams, yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
I got you. I shouldn't say got you nowhere. I got you the playoffs. But, yeah.
Kyron's out in the CBS Sports top 10 running backs. Number
I bet
one,
Christian McCaffrey is
number one. Christian McCaffrey's number one. Who would you put at number 2? I'm surprised at who they have at number 2.
Well, so if Breece Hall is healthy now with Aaron Rodgers, I would consider Breece Hall.
They have him 6th.
Okay, I would consider Bijan Robinson now that he's got a quarterback. But I think they probably went just because of new scenery, Derrick Henry to the Ravens.
They did. They went Derrick Henry, but I was going to go Bijan with the Falcons.
Derrick Henry, I thought it was an interesting quote. I saw him the other day, and it can. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination he meant it as a shot at the Titans and the Titans roster, but it's the only way it can be interpreted. Is he basically said it's good to be in a place where so much of the focus is not on me.
Right.
I mean, he's got a MVP-level quarterback. He's got good receivers. He's got a good offensive line. I mean, he was essentially saying in Tennessee, I was all the offense had. And for a lot of the time in Tennessee, he wasn't wrong about that.
Well, that gets me to the question I wanted to ask. With Derrick Henry being listed by CBS Sports as the second best running back in the NFL, does his carries drop tremendously, or does Lamar Jackson running the football drop tremendously?
Well, I think Lamar's yards could go up because of Derrick Henry.
I think it's same system, and they love to run the football.
Yeah,
but do you love Lamar running, or do you want to keep him running less, or do you just have to let Lamar be Lamar?
I think you let Lamar be Lamar. Yeah.
And I think it could actually lead to more rush yards.
Where do they have Saquon Barkley?
They've got Saquon in Philadelphia 7th, right behind Breece Hall. Here's the top 10. I didn't write the whole 32 down, but McCaffrey 1, Derrick Henry 2, Bijan 3, so LT was all over those. Jonathan Taylor 4th. I just don't see a lot of Colts games right now.
Yeah. But I tell you what, I mean, when Anthony Richardson was healthy and playing, that was a pretty good Colts team.
Well, and, you had the contract dispute with him and Robert Irsay.
Yeah, but I mean, Lance keeps pointing out that the AFC South feels like the one that turns over every year. The NFC East has done that recently too. So you wonder if the Colts are the team when everybody's thinking, it's going to be somebody else, the Texans in the AFC South, or the Colts team that actually wins it.
Nick Chubb, 5th.
Chubb's a stud. And it would help out if Deshaun Watson would finally play like he played in Houston.
Breece Hall is 6th. Saquon is 7th. Jahmyr Gibbs is 8th.
Well, David Montgomery was more of their every down back. But I think the combination of Montgomery and Gibbs.
Such a good offense. And, the what he can do out of the backfield in the pass game is what sets Jahmyr Gibbs apart. To the point that there was a time where they were talking about using him more like a hybrid H-back receiver type than a running back.
Josh Jacobs 9th, and Aaron Jones with the Vikings is 10th on that list. That's the top 10. That's what I have down. You can see the whole list at cbssports.com. 3 Alabama running backs in the top 10 there, or top 9, if you will.
Been a pretty good position for the time.
Yeah. But, for a while, I mean, Trent Richardson was one of the biggest flops.
No doubt.
I hate to say flop.
It was a flop. Where he was drafted and what he produced was a flop.
Were tremendous, and it didn't pan out. And I think that was one that you were like, what's up with Alabama running backs?
How would you grade Ingram's career? Where was he picked by the Saints?
Oh, he was
in the 20s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was latter first round.
Mark Ingram.
I would say Mark Ingram had a B career.
Yeah, good.
I mean, he was in the league a long time.
Yeah, the Saints drafted him pick 28. So pick 28, he was 8,000 rush yards, 65 rush touchdowns for pick 28. He had another 2,000 receiving yards, 10 receiving touchdowns. So 75 total touchdowns, 10,000 total yards is pick 28. That's a pretty good career.
Yeah.
I mean, if I get that out of pick 28.
That's what I was saying, a B.
Yeah, now he played for twice for the Saints, so, he had stops with the Ravens and the Texans as well.
Yeah. But Trent's the one I thought was going to be just
he was a bust.
Dynamic in the NFL
too.
And never panned out.
Trent Richardson was, the first guy I ever looked at just with my own eyes, not on TV, not like Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, because as a kid, this didn't occur to me as a kid. But as an adult, it occurred to me when I first saw Trent Richardson. I'm like, the NFL has a good policy that you need to be out of high school 3 years before playing in the NFL. But when you see a Trent Richardson, you're like, that guy doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Like first day I ever saw him in Tuscaloosa, I was like, yeah, that guy could play right now in the NFL.
That's what I felt about Julio Jones.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Pick 3, though, for Richardson, and that was a bad career. You can't paint it any other way.
Before LT tells us about Inverness Country Club, muscles, people were talking about maybe Trent was got too bulky, too muscular to play his position at the elite level. Riley Green, country music singer, we interviewed him in the Coca-Cola conversations out at Regions, and cut up guy. He looks more cut up in this video from the weekend in Philadelphia.
He's got his shirt off?
No, look at this. Look at those arms. He's taking BP. He had the after game concert after a Phillies game, and Bryce Harper invited him out to take a little batting practice, where Riley Duckman says, thanks to the Phillies for having me out to take some cuts today. Put a few in the stands.
I can believe it.
At Citizens Bank Park.
Good athlete.
I saw him swing, and a couple of them went to the fence there.
I mean, he was a collegiate football player, Jack State.
He's bigger than Bryce.
Yeah, he is.
I saw Bryce last night with the Tennessee uniform on.
Yeah, he did.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's pulling for the Vols, apparently.
Get back to him standing by Bryce. Let's run through that.
I remember Tim McGraw, though, taking BP. Now, it was in Colorado, I think. But I remember him hitting a couple out.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're right. He's taller than Bryce and more muscular than Bryce there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right.
He's definitely bigger than Bryce Harper, who's not a small guy. I mean, we stood next to Riley. I could tell he'd been working out. He didn't seem that big, though.
Yeah. Bryce, by the way, stayed for out on the field for the post-game concert, and his wife captured him and his daughter dancing to Riley Green music there. Riley Green continuing to turn out some hits in country music.
I'm going to say with that comparison, there is a difference in athlete playing a game muscle and trying to impress the women on tour muscle. Wouldn't you agree? Like, Bryce is trying to build a different type of muscle to do what he does, and Riley's just trying to let the women know he looks good.
Yeah, I think that was a lot for Major League Baseball with the PEDs, though.
Yep.
I think they wanted to look good, too.
And hit home runs.
But to your point, Brown, that does have a little Mark McGwire Bash brother look to it over to the left.
I mean, if both those guys were in the major leagues and you suspected one of them was using PEDs, it's Riley Green.
I think I said this after we saw him at Regions. I feel better about he's planning workouts as opposed to writing songs.
All right. When we come back, much more college football on the other side. LT has Trash for us. The show being brought to you by the Inverness Country Club. I cannot tell you, man, young couple, this is a place to be. Just start with their kid care. It's amazing.
Yeah, find your sense of community at Inverness Country Club. You mentioned child care. It's a big plus. You and your wife on a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself a day on the court or course, dinner with friends, knowing your kid is safe on site. Massive plus. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Whatever your interest is, you can find it at Inverness from the social membership, including the resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, live music on Friday nights, Sunday brunch, the golf, the beautiful course. Of course, they are expanding that driving range right now. Did you know you don't have to be a member in order to hold an event at Inverness? Inverness can hold anywhere from golf tournaments to corporate meetings to wedding receptions and anything in between. Take a tour of this beautiful club right now. Call Aaron, 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, iccalabama.com.
Follow Jon Lunceford on Twitter at jlunce.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Our friends at Longest Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longest offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longest offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longest sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longest has to offer you.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Back with you, final hour of the next round, always brought to you by our friends at Champy's world famous fried chicken. Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're almost to tailgating season, 60 days away from college football returning. We're only a month away from the Hall of Fame game, a month and a week away from the Hall of Fame game to start the NFL exhibition season. Camp's starting up soon. We'll be in Dallas for SEC Media Days soon. All the football's coming. You get all the great food for lunch and dinner at Champy's Chicken. Chicken that's brined overnight, cooked to order. And I love the two big breasts right there with all the sides. The chicken fingers are to die for. And you can't leave without trying the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's all at Champy's Chicken. Sterling and the crew right there, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Greg from Pell City, who has eaten there several times, is on the phones with us. And he's got a Trent Richardson story, I'm told. Greg, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Glad all three of you are back in there. Sounds great. I tell you, years ago, I went to high school, graduated from Escambia in '85, and Emmett Smith graduated in '87. So I was able to, play high school ball with Emmett, and Trent, went to the same school. And so years, heck, I don't know how many years ago, I took my girls were little, so it was homecoming. And I had on my Bama gear, Bama, and I went to homecoming there to Escambia, and Coach Jimmy Nichols was our offensive coordinator back when Emmett was there. He had gotten a head coaching job after moving, so that was his dream job. Anyway, we're in his office, and we're talking because Trent has broken a few records there, in the locker room of Emmett. And so just asking him, he said, well, he mentioned that it looks like he's headed your guys, pointing at my Alabama jacket. And so I asked him about Trent and Emmett, what the difference was. And he said Trent was a fantastic running back, but he pointed at his chest, kind of like, only two differences is here, like his heart, and I don't mean in a negative way. He was just saying his heart and his vision. He said he just said, because when we were in high school, even on the field at times, they would, you pitch it to Emmett, and you used to running backs just tearing off, and you said, go, Emmett, but he was so patient all the time, even in high school. I don't know if you remember with the Cowboys. I mean, Emmett was not a real fast runner. He just let his line do the work. And that's the reason I put Emmett as the best, just because he's physically not as gifted or quick as some of these. He's just one of the smartest running backs. And then you look at Trent. When he got to pros, he would run into people, and there'd be a hole right to the right. And so the vision, and Coach Nichols sat there and told us that. He said his heart and his vision was what he did not equal up as far as to Emmett. I mean, Emmett's one of the greatest ever, but that's kind of what messed up Trent's career, was because he was a great physical specimen, and at Alabama in high school, over people, but when he got to the pros, just watch some films of him and him just not reading the defense correctly. It was just kind of a skill he just didn't have.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, I thought he was a can't miss. I don't know if you guys remember this. First of all, I didn't know that Mexico had a football league, but Trent's last carries were with the Carillos de Chihuahua.
It's one of my favorite Mexican.
Of the Mexican Football Americano de Mexico, FAM league.
Basically the Cowboys of that
Did you
league.
guys know there was a league? I didn't know there was a league.
I didn't know there was a league until I do remember Trent Richardson, now that you mention it, playing for them, and remember thinking,
I remember him signing the contract or being announced that he was going to play with them. I didn't know he actually ever played a game with them.
And he played with the Iron, too. Did he not? Or in that league?
He did.
Yeah, he was with the Iron. That's really how he finished his career, which was very, very sad.
I mean, really, the only season that was productive was year one. And that makes sense. What he's saying, if you lose the passion for the game and your heart's not in it, I can't explain anything else that would have happened. Remember, he had that weird trade from the Browns to Indianapolis in season.
Yeah, and people thought that would be like, it would reignite him.
That's right.
Just change the scenery. And
what a great pickup for the Colts, I remember saying.
Yeah, and it did not. And I did too. I thought Trent Richardson was a can't miss. I thought of all the backs that came through there early, even better than Mark Ingram, Eddie Lacy, Trent Richardson, T.J. Yeldon. Of that group, Trent was the one that I thought would be the best pro.
Before I jump back into college football, let me tell you about Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Not only does he have a humble brag that he played at the same high school as Emmett Smith and was back there wearing his Letterman jacket at homecoming, but he'll also get on your roof for free and give you a free no-cost roof inspection. It's the kind of business he runs. Greg from Pell City. and Storm Restoration Roofing. 205-542-3531, 542-3531. We're so thankful that he's sort of part of our family, right? He's got our logo on his truck and on his signs there, and we're proud to tell anyone that is talking to us about roof that Storm Restoration Roofing is the roofer they need. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and he gives you great advice about your roof, whether it's aging out. Oftentimes he'll tell you, hey, 3-4 more years left on this roof, then call me back. It's a free, no cost, no obligation roof inspection, handles storm damage and all of that. It is Greg from Pell City, Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City. Love that guy right there. Appreciate him so much. Some teams are changing places. We've joked about that with Florida State, their massive games against Cal and SMU this year. I want to ask you, who has better seasons this year? A couple of teams in different locations now that the college athletic season is over, with Tennessee winning the national championship. In football this year, who has the better season in their new location, SMU or Oklahoma?
I think SMU, record-wise.
Record-wise.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Is SMU beating Oklahoma head-to-head? I don't know, but record-wise, I think SMU has the better record.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of expectations of SMU. SMU or USC in their new location? Who has the better season?
Record-wise, probably SMU.
Yeah, and I would say with Lance, I would say better
I don't
record
know.
as
I
SMU.
mean, to me, USC is kind of fascinating. They were not a good team last year. They had a great quarterback, but they won 8 games. I think if they won 8 or 9 year one in the Big Ten, it wouldn't be disastrous.
I forget when we had Red on and when we unveiled SMU. Where do you guys? I mean, you guys are high on SMU. Instantly, SMU better than Oklahoma and USC.
Well,
better
record. They had 11 wins last year, and I think they're going to be as good. Now, the schedule might be a little more difficult, but as I look at it, they're going to be favored in their first 4 games until they get Florida State. And if they somehow get by Florida State, they could run the table.
I mean,
even in year one, because here's what you've got in conference. You've got Florida State at home. You go to Louisville. You go to Stanford. You go to Duke. You got Pitt at home, Boston College at home, at Virginia, and California at home. I mean, they're going to be favored in all those games.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to be dogs in 2 games this year. That's it.
If you drop SMU into the Big Ten or the SEC, I think SMU would fight to get to 8 wins.
Right.
So don't misunderstand what I'm saying here, and you're saying the same thing, right?
Yeah.
They're benefiting from playing an ACC schedule.
Better year this year, Utah or Texas in their new home? That's a tough one, by the way.
That's tough. I feel Texas got a beneficial schedule for year one in the SEC. I feel like Texas is 10 or 11. I feel like Utah is 9, 10, or 11.
Yeah, I think I'd go Texas.
I think I'm going to lean Texas.
Yeah. Not 100% on that one. Again, I had Little T's got my board. I think I had Utah at 11 wins. So I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I would say I feel more comfortable about Texas.
Oregon or Texas?
Let me look at Oregon's schedule real quick. I know they play USC. Play Ohio State.
Most people, while you pull it up, most people consider Oregon to be the second best team in the Big Ten, behind Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State's so good. I will warn people that Michigan's defense is going to be elite again, so don't just cast Michigan off. Ohio State's so good that Dane Brugler, LT and Brownie, Dane Brugler of the Athletics says he expects a record-tying 15 Ohio State Buckeyes to be drafted in next year's draft.
Well,
that's how good they are.
Surprised me. I'm looking at Oregon's schedule, too.
They're not going to lose out of conference. So
no, they shouldn't lose out of conference. I mean, Boise State and at Oregon State are interesting games just because of the old Civil War, and Boise should be better this year under Andy.
Yeah, I mean, it's about Ohio State and Michigan, right? They host Ohio State and they play at Michigan.
Yeah, I think those are the 2 games they're underdogs in.
It's just like being an old school Big Ten team.
I do.
What do you do at Ohio State against Michigan?
I think the finish is tricky because you're at Wisconsin and then Washington. I mean, we saw that Washington owned them last year.
So Oregon or Texas, better year?
I would say Texas.
I think I'll go Texas there. That looks like a 10-2 schedule for Oregon.
Colorado, UCLA.
I'll go UCLA. Don't feel amazing about it, but I just don't think Colorado.
Yeah, I think I would go UCLA. UCLA coming off of 8 wins. I mean, even if they bottom out and go to 4-8, I don't see Colorado getting 4 wins. Colorado has become a polarizing, at least, prediction for people because I've seen people that think they're going to be much better than they were last year.
Yeah, people talk about them challenging for the Big 12, which I don't see.
Maybe we'll play the soundbite tomorrow off of Joel Klatt's podcast.
Yeah.
It was the teaser that he put out there. Joel's doing his for the second summer in a row, his big noon conversations with coaches. That's where I got a Sark question yesterday, but he was talking to Dion in the most recent one, and Joel asked him the question that we've talked about, that when Shedeur and what's his other son's name? Shiloh move on, and Travis Scott, who he considers a son.
Travis Hunter.
Are you?
I'm sure he's a Travis Scott fan.
Yeah. Are you committed to still being here at Colorado? And he said, yeah, he is. He went into a lecture. He's a father figure. He leads his kids. He doesn't follow them. He's not a baby daddy, and that he led his kids to Colorado. He's not going to follow them to the NFL.
That'll be interesting. I'll look forward to hearing that. Can I, back to UCLA, can I just say, and we'll do this, I'm sure, at some point this summer, so remember this one when we bring it up. Toughest 3-game stretches. And this is pretty early for them because it starts in the last 2 weeks of September. At LSU. LSU plays USC and UCLA, in case you forgot. I know it is strange, but they play them both. At LSU, it's a true road game for them. Host Oregon at the Rose Bowl, and then at Penn State and Beaver Stadium in 3 consecutive games.
That is incredibly that they're going to go 0-3 there.
That is a brutal stretch.
I mean, how body parts that you could bet. I mean, you'd almost go heart at that point, right?
To go
almost
0-3.
everything. But, they lose those 3.
That gives them a 2-3 start, though.
They're going to lose at Nebraska. I think they lose to Iowa. They lose at Washington. They lose to SC.
I mean, so we found 6 losses pretty quick there.
Yeah, but again, I said if bottom falls out and they go from 8 to 4 wins, I still think 4 wins can top Colorado, so I'll go UCLA.
Yeah, last one, Arizona and Washington. Better year in their new location.
That's a tough one because they traded a coach. Well, they didn't trade coaches, but Arizona's coach went to Washington. Jeff Fisher at Washington.
Arizona gets I don't know. Arizona's schedule might be as tough as Washington's when you look at it.
Yeah, Washington in the Big Ten got Penn State and Michigan, and they still play Oregon. It's really a fairly tough Big Ten schedule for them. They do host Michigan. That's the good news, but they got to go to Iowa, which is not an easy place to play. They host USC at Penn State, at Oregon.
Yep.
I mean,
tough schedule.
Yeah, it is.
But Arizona, I mean, the Big 12, like you're high on the ACC, I'm high on the Big 12.
Yeah.
Like I think the Big 12 is going to be a really good conference this year.
But the problem is, like Andy was talking about, and you have talked about several times, is that it may be the deepest league not named the SEC out there as far as like teams from top to 6, 7, 8 teams down that could be playing in the championship game.
I think a lot of people forget that Arizona finished 11th in the final poll last year, but they got to go to K-State. They've got to go to Utah in back-to-back weeks. They go to BYU. They go to UCF. They go to TCU. I mean, they've got a pretty...
Keep in mind, though, now with Arizona, that core of players that Jedd Fisch bragged got together and said, we're not going anywhere.
He only lost a few of them.
Well, but then he left. That was the thing. Jedd Fisch was like, we got this core of players that have said, we're not going to take the transfer portal route. We're not going to buy into these NIL deals. We're going to stay and we're going to win this thing together at Arizona, guys. Let's go do this. And Jedd Fisch bragged about it. And then Jedd Fisch took the Washington job. But a lot of those players are still there.
Yeah, and I don't know, what kind of job Jedd Fisch is going to do there. I don't think he's going to do Chris Peterson, / Kalen DeBoer kind of things, but I think, he's going to have success there.
I don't think he will the first year, though.
No, I think I would go Arizona.
I would, too.
On that question.
From what Brown was talking about. Yeah. He took a few of those players, but Fafita's back at Arizona.
That's right.
And a lot of those Arizona players. One more thing in this segment after LT tells you about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Michelson Laser Vision. You still call it one of your best top 5 decisions of your life.
Yeah, I will tell you this. I've got a friend, and he years ago went somewhere else, and he has reached out to me the last couple of days. Can you get me in with Dr. Michelson because the vision is fading? I got my procedure before his. I've still got 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call. Then IMA 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. One of the best decisions I made. My radio days was going to see Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. They are the best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
The Meltdown guys, Melton and Lunceford and Tyler and Rockstar and all them, they broke it down yesterday on the Meltdown. You can go see that on their platform there. They're live again this afternoon at 2 o'clock. But are you watching House of Dragons? You're not, are you?
Yeah, I am.
You are?
Yeah, I've only seen the first episode. I have not seen Sundays yet.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, I binge watched when I left here Friday before my vacation, season 1, because I didn't jump in on it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think it was going to be good. So
it's good. It's not nearly as good as Game of Thrones.
It's not. But I think episode 2, the one you're about to watch, was one of the best 90 minutes of television that I've seen in a long, long time.
Well, I mean, how episode 1 ended, you just felt like you were about to have some retribution to the next level.
Do you need to watch Game of Thrones to watch House of Dragon?
No. It's a prequel. Anyway.
It's a great show, but like I tell them, like Lunceford and Tim, so they do have subtle hints about Game of Thrones, but you do not have to, because I've seen an episode of Game of Thrones, and this show is fantastic.
Yeah, but everything's happening before. I mean, if you watch Game of Thrones,
like 700 years.
Well, you need to go back to Game of Thrones. I know it was too many characters.
So hard. This one has
freaking good.
This one has too many characters. There's twins named Eric and Eric, one with an A, one with an E.
And it's confusing because Targaryens, they all look kind of the same. And
but I thought Game of Thrones was a lot more characters, not as many. It's basically 2 houses here. But when you watch it, let me know the cinematography, the acting. I just think really good 90 minutes. I watched it yesterday afternoon, and it was so good. So if any of you guys are watching House of Dragons, episode 2, Keith says was awesome. Thought it was really, really good. We'll do trash when we come back. Show brought to you from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio in Birmingham. We're the next round. LT's got trash still to come, and we'll hear a little bit more from Tony Vitello and the national champion Volunteers in the final segment of the show today, right here on the next round.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations: Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
All right, before I tell you about Way to Wellness, a couple of other NFL notes. Isaiah Bugg, former Alabama player, cut by the Kansas City Chiefs after his second arrest this summer. One was the misdemeanor animal cruelty, which his agent explained was targeting basically by the Tuscaloosa authorities, wanting him to give up a business license. The most recent one from June 16th, according to legal records, was for domestic violence. And that's the one that is the most serious and the one that the Kansas City Chiefs decided they'd had enough of. And Isaiah Bugg has been cut from the Chiefs. Charlotte, the city council approved yesterday a $650 million renovation deal to the stadium there in Charlotte. And you can get the feeling that, and here's what the plan is going to be to make that stadium look better in downtown Charlotte. Not going to rebuild it or anything. They're going to spend right at $1 billion to upgrade it. And you can tell that David Tepper maybe was holding them over the barrel a little bit because he's going to kick in 140 something of his own money up front, 140 million of his own money. But
it's amazing that we've got stadiums where renovations are $1 billion.
Yeah. But his comment was, I'm glad this worked out so we can stay here in Charlotte for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Foreseeable.
Yeah, through 2045 is what the deal is. But that tells you that if we had not gotten the deal to upgrade it, the Panthers, he would have been shopping the Panthers.
Yeah, why would you not say our permanent home? We are now glad to announce that we're going to be here forever.
Foreseeable future does leave the door open, right?
Hey, and Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson, the former LSU stars, teamed up again on the runway in Paris at the Vogue World Fashion. Here they are walking the runway together. Notice something about the suit that Burrow is wearing.
It's missing a back.
It's backless.
That's fashion, my friend.
It's got a strap connecting it on the back. It is backless for Joe Burrow there. Forster, chances are you ever buy that suit right there to wear to a big, maybe your daughter's wedding.
Yeah, I don't foresee that happening.
I don't know, man.
You don't want to outshine her that
Do
day.
you guys remember the terrible movie with Ryan O'Neal? It was called So Fine, and he had split his jeans somehow, and it became a big fashion trend.
I don't remember
the dude that played Jaws and James Bond was in it.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Good-looking guy.
So he split it like in the middle?
No, his ass was hanging out.
Yeah.
And then
everybody started wearing the cheekless jean. Yeah, it was a terrible movie.
That's a look from Joe Burrow.
Outdoor August wedding, that open back would come in handy, though. I'll go ahead and tell you.
I don't have any muscles, period, but I really don't have any back muscles. That'd be a bad look for me. Might as well cut a place for my beer belly to hang out too, like I'm on maternity leave. The show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Leslie and her board-certified team will take care of you. Whether you're trying to jumpstart weight loss here in the summer, get ready for football season, maybe for a new year, or whether you're trying to control some cholesterol or blood pressure numbers, their plan can work for all of that stuff. Yes, yes, and yes. Just let her explain it to you by going to their website, planforme.com. Planforme.com. It's a way to wellness. No contract, no sign-up fees, and the consultation that you see the guys going through right here, absolutely free. The Meltdown guys are doing it, and they're having great success. You can too. It's our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. That website, again, is a planforme.com. Big study today in Katie Couric's newsletter. She's doing a story on it.
Rockstar reminded me when you were gone, I don't get the Katie Couric newsletter. He was very disappointed by that. He thought you should have shared it with me for a week at least.
They polled 100 girls from different regions of the country to ask them on average what they are spending on bachelorette parties nowadays.
Oh, my gosh.
Girls in their 20s, 100 people polled.
Now, is it a collective number or is it per person?
It is a range that each person is spending to go to a friend's bachelorette party.
I'm going to say the average bachelorette party is 3 days.
That's the first thing they said. It's no longer one night.
No.
It is a weekend.
So just do Nashville. Let's do Nashville 3 days. Your hotel minimum is going to be $1,000.
They're always splitting it.
Okay, so 500. Let's say 500 on that.
They named 2 cities. I didn't know the other one was a destination, but it's Nashville and
Charleston.
Austin, Texas.
Oh, listen, like I just got back from there. I saw a lot of it. It gave Nashville vibes. Like there were I saw 2 or 3 bachelorette parties, and we were only there 2 days.
But I know Charleston's become big. I would say $1,500 is about the number.
You're right in the medium. Anywhere from $800 to $2,500 per person. One of the persons said, I have now been in I've now spent $20,000 in my life on bachelorette party weekends.
I bet Little T's approaching it. She's in a wedding every weekend, and it's like every one of them involves the bachelorette party. Then you now have to go buy the dress and all that.
I mean, I've been to bachelor parties in Cancun. I've been to multiple in Vegas.
You've probably spent that?
Probably spent a lot, yeah.
In your lifetime, you think you spent $25,000 on bachelor parties?
Like my rule was if you're in a wedding, you've got to go to the bachelor party.
Yeah.
And I got overturned on that one time because I had a buddy that had his bachelor party in Rio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Bethany was like,
Bethany was like, that ain't happening because she was already pissed off about the Cancun one.
But I'm in the wedding.
If you're in the wedding, I think you need to be at the bachelor party or bachelorette party.
It's mind-boggling. A lot of the older people, different generations, was saying that for us it was one, maybe two bars one night, and we just got probably spent $100 each on drinks and had a great time.
Mine was 3 nights. I mean, I guess it just depends on the person, but it has changed a lot.
Yeah,
over 25 years.
I can't remember having one.
Which
means I probably had more than 2 drinks.
The ones, you had more than half a beer. The ones in Nashville, like I saw the ones in Austin, they weren't to the level of the Nashville. Nashville bachelorette parties are next level.
Well, I mean, they got it dialed in. There's so many activities just built around the bachelorette party industry.
Let's do trash now, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Rockstar, hit the big button.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
It is buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. They were veteran founded here in Birmingham and offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information by going to their website, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call their Birmingham office, Highway 280, 205 900 7200, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Another shark attack in the news. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Is this in the Gulf again?
Well, did you guys ever see the movie, or actually Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh, I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
So Tomeo Perry, surfing legend known for appearing in the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean movie, has died. The famed surfer passed away Sunday following a shark attack off the coast of Hawaii. As Tomeo's body was found by local surfers, according to this, his arm and leg were both missing when they discovered the body.
And this would be a guy that's probably experienced in recognizing it, knowing where to be and where not to be as a surfer.
They call him a, quote, legendary waterman. He won the Pipeline Master Surfing Competition in 1999.
I used to watch it as a kid. It was always on Wide World of Sport.
Kelly Slater was the kid that was always so good.
Yeah.
Slater was badass.
That's amazing, though, man.
That is.
He's only 49 years old.
Do you think, because it is so newsworthy now on attacks, but do you think at the end of the year we're going to get the numbers in shark attacks are going to be way out of whack of what they normally are, or are they just more in the news right now?
I think more in the news.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Lance. I bet at the end of the year we're like, it really wasn't that up.
I mean, until the really unfortunate incident that occurred down on 30A, I don't think there was an attack this year, at least in Florida waters.
But then there was a spate of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. And then you mix in, now look, the rip current, the undertow, it's there all the time. But boy, you mix that in, it's been a bad year.
So 6 Missouri sisters have been verified as the record holders for the highest combined age of 6 living siblings. I think we need to crack these people open, Rockstar, and study them, because this is pretty amazing. The overall sisters of Farmington, Missouri included Norma Jacob, 101 years old, Lorene Kallmeyer, 98, Maxine Cole, 97, Doris Griffith, 94, Margaret Norton, 90, and Elma Jennings, 88. Think about those names.
That's what I was about to say.
Lorene, Maxine, Doris, Margaret, and Elma.
Yeah, you can tell they were born in another century.
Nothing says 90 plus in that group of names.
And
I'm married to a Margaret.
The siblings range in age from 88 to 101. Their total ages combined add up to 571 years, 293 days. Now, the overall sisters work with their other family members to submit various forms of proof, including birth and marriage certificates, videos, photos, witness statements from people who can confirm their ages. Families sent in at least 100 documents before they received verification.
One was pissed that 3 went lime green.
Yeah,
pants.
I know. They matched.
But I'm going to jump off right here and say 1 is actually holding up better than 2, 3, and 5. 4 is holding up the best. I bet she's the drinker. I bet 4 is the drinker.
Which one do you think can cook the best?
I'm going to say that. I'm going to say 5 is the best cook.
Oh, I was going to go 4.
No. You can tell they're sisters outside of 6, right? Maybe it's just the hair.
Well, 6 is the baby of the group.
Yeah.
Like the rest of them. What's the total combined age here?
571 years, 293 days.
Wow.
Man,
so the youngest one is what?
Number 6?
The youngest is 88. It's 88. Elma Jennings there.
I got to say, 6 looks pretty good for 88.
Yeah, so 88 takes
She's
you back.
got some long arms. She can play the post.
Dude, now this is what's sad is now that we're in 2024.
They've all got kind of large hands.
Yeah.
So 60.
Short shorts are a bad look. You gotta shut them down at some point.
Yeah, a lot of beat up plays there. But it's hot out.
Does that even take the baby back to World War II? 88 years ago?
Yes.
Right at the tail end.
Yeah,
44, 45.
Yeah. She might.
She wasn't around for Pearl Harbor.
She might have been a freedom baby. VE Day or VJ Day. They might have birthed her.
But the other ladies
conceived her.
Other ladies lived through World War II.
Yeah.
When I was younger, all those people that age had lived through the Depression. Yeah. And they always had. If I needed $1, or we were poor, but if I ever needed $1 or $2 or $5, my grandmother, who lived through the Depression, always had it somewhere in that massive purse she had.
Or a coffee can.
Yeah, she had it somewhere.
Yeah.
Lucas McClish, 34 years old, last seen on the morning of June 11th at the Big Bassin Redwood State Park, around 14 miles north of Santa Cruz. Now, he was reported missing on June 16th. Sheriff's Office said it received multiple reports of witnesses hearing someone yelling for help. Now, the force then used several drones to determine Mr. McClish's exact location. State park rangers were first to discover him, and fire crews helped bring him to safety on Friday. Mr. McClish was only going for a 3-hour hike before work when he got lost. He went on to say, quote, "I didn't bring anything because I thought I was doing a 3-hour hike, then going to work." He said he got lost. He only had a flashlight and folding scissors. Who takes folding scissors? Look at this guy's picture.
So 10 days he's out in the wild. He was on.
It looks like he's been blown up.
He was on a 3-hour.
If you're able to be blown up and not destruct, that's what you would look like.
If you see those episodes like Naked and Afraid, they're by the fire so much that ash just goes all over your face, and to the point where they just don't care anymore.
Well, he went on to say, "I kind of just hiked each day. I go up to a canyon, down a canyon to the next waterfall, sit down by the waterfall, drink water out of my boot." I don't know why he just wouldn't drink it out of the waterfall.
You got a big container.
He said he drank water from creeks, ate wild berries, slept on a bed of wet leaves while yelling for help. If you've ever seen Into the Wild, you don't want to eat berries that you don't know what they contain.
I pissed him off, too. I was doing so good to that one berry.
He had no major injuries and was reunited with his family. I think he was done for anyway, Rocky. Don't you think?
Eventually, yeah, but he could have lasted long. But the weight he lost, that was just that last scene, that last breath was.
Yeah, it was tough.
I like that our guy here didn't lose his goalie gloves. He's ready to get between the pipes, stop some shots.
I think they may have given that to repel him out of the ravine.
Or to warm his hands.
Okay, you guys tell me if this is island worthy.
All right.
An elderly Floridian was swindled out of $154,000 in gold bars by a phone fraudster who claimed that the victim was facing arrest due to illegal activity in his Amazon account.
How old is the victim?
Last month, 70-year-old Jensen Beach resident called police to report that he had been bilked out of $154,000 after receiving a call from a man claiming to be an Amazon representative. After being told about the fraud on his account, the victim was transferred to Brian Alba, who said he was an agent with the U.S. government and that based on the activity, there were several warrants out for his arrest. Alba said he could keep the man out of jail, but the victim would have to first obtain $154,000 cashier's check, then use the funds to purchase 2 gold bars, each of which weighed a kilo and cost in excess of $75,000. Alba assured the man that he would send him a cashier's check after he received the gold for the amount he paid for it. After obtaining the gold, the victim put the bars in an old iPhone box, wrapped the package to make it look like a gift. With Alba on the phone directing him, the man drove on May 24th to a drop-off location, placed the package in the back seat of a sedan when the driver rolled down the window. Elderly man only called police because Alba kept calling and asking for more gold.
Oh, yeah, right on the island, nonstop.
Now, police later arrested a 21-year-old who confessed to his role in the scheme. He said he was paid by someone he knows as Rocky to pick up the packages, deliver them to drop-off points. He claims he worked with him since May, and Rocky pays for his travel, rental cars, and hotel stays.
Yeah.
I think both go together.
You're about to ask the question I have.
No, I was going to say we have a mutual friend. I talked to him that he was on the phone. Some guy, he goes, I was on the phone for an hour and a half with the guy that said all these credentials and everything that's saying that I owe this money and I have warrants out for my arrest. And he's like, I didn't know what to do because he sounded so official. And he's like, you need to go to the courthouse now and meet me here and all this stuff. You need to pay this. And he's just like, I don't. He said it was an hour and a half. It was one of the scariest things, but he finally just hung up.
I think
like,
police, police have gone out of their way to say, we do not call you to tell you have a warrant. You either get we knock on the door if it's bad enough, or you'll get pulled over and get arrested.
What were you going to ask? Where you buy gold bars?
No, how they knew the man had gold bars. It seems like this is a bit of an inside job.
No, he had to go buy it.
He had to go get a cashier's check to the guy to buy it.
Because you can buy one at Costco, right?
Yeah. So on TikTok, this is amazing. There's this guy that he's this computer genius, and he's able to hack into these call centers in India where they do a lot of these scams. And he can even hack into their security system and see video of the actual call center. So he'll get one of them on the phone and he'll start talking to them, and he can hack their computer and figure out their name and stuff like that. And they'll say, like, how do you know my name? He'll say, I don't know. Turn around and ask the guy behind you in that maroon shirt. And the guy, you can see him on the camera. They'll be like, oh my God, what's going on here? And I mean, this guy's amazing.
But see, why do we as the greatest country on the planet not shut this crap down? From people who hack my Facebook account all the way down to this. How do we not shut this down?
How do you regulate that? Like, how do you catch somebody?
If we can trace this guy, if this guy can do it, let's hire him.
Now, if you started beheading people in public, then maybe that would.
Let's start prosecuting, man. Lock you up, man.
Well, they're in another country. What are we?
You committed a crime against America.
Well, what are we going to do? We're going to extradite them, or we're going to send
They're
troops
literally
in
a
to get
game
them?
called Crime Against Humanity.
Well, they got this guy now. Whether or not they get Rocky, maybe we'll have an update on it.
They got the delivery guy. They didn't get the main guy.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we get Rocky, I'm sure we'll have an update.
Lance is right. There are a lot of countries where stuff like this doesn't happen. We don't have the stomach for that type of punishment because it's a rough punishment.
But if it was 20 U.S. senators, 20% of the U.S. Senate was getting scammed out of all of their money.
Well, they're scamming us.
That's a different ballgame.
Then we would change something.
Well, they're scamming us out of ours.
If we did some of the things that we don't have a stomach for,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't think a lot of this stuff would happen.
What do you think the crime rate is in Singapore? It's probably pretty low because they cane you on the spot.
Right. You spit bubble gum.
I mean, we don't have a stomach for that in this country, and but if we've chosen, we're going to accept a certain level of lawlessness to keep from doing that.
If the guy on TikTok who is hacked into the scamming call center, we throw one drone through there and wipe out that call center, then is it off to a good start?
I mean, you were talking about carpet bombing a call center?
Well, are they scamming people out of their money?
Well, yeah, but some of those people are probably slaves and indentured servants. I mean, they're probably.
Yeah, I'm going to need a backstory on
everybody. I mean, they're probably working to keep their
I've got shower thoughts real quick.
Would I go with the dragon if I had the dragon?
Excessive tipping culture has taught people how to confidently decline tipping offers without being embarrassed. I agree, man. Like if and I forgot where I was the other day, but they were asking for a tip, and they literally didn't do anything.
Yeah, I got that. Where was I? I'm trying to remember where I was, and I hit the 15%, which was the lowest one, and I'm like, why am I even tipping here? This literally was nothing.
Oh, I did it somewhere too. I was thinking, what did I just do?
Yeah, and I ran into several weeks ago, but I ran into your golf course deal where they spin the screen around, and she hits it. I mean, she's good at it too. Yeah. Like she spins it around, and she does her thumb like that.
It's the only place I know that's got a wheel.
Yeah, it's got a wheel of tips, and she spins her thumb, and by the time that screen gets spun around to me, it's up to like 38%.
Yeah. Mine usually lands about 33.
We're going down that.
Another shower thought. I don't agree with this one. We'd all get a hell of a lot more done if humans had a natural mating season.
Oh my God, that season would be rough.
Oh yeah, but can you imagine looking forward to June? Like, it's almost here. I mean, deer scrape their antlers in the tree. They're so excited for it. What would we be doing?
It was the chairs on vacation. It was 25, 30, or 35% was what the boxes were.
For them to give you a chair that they've already set out?
After I paid for them for the 3 days, they spun it around if you'd like to leave a tip. And my choices were 25%, 30%, 35%, or custom.
Did you ask him custom?
No, I do typically tip the chair guy because he's got to put your umbrella up and all that kind of stuff.
And I went custom. I tipped him a little bit more than the 35% because I wanted it on the front row. You know where I went the first day?
Front row?
Everybody wants front row.
Was he really tan?
He was, yeah. But dude was Samoan. when it was time to pack up the chairs, you know how heavy those things can get. I counted. He had 14 chairs he carried with him over the sand back to his place at a time.
The worst part of it, though, is if you watch them in the morning and they get that drill and they're having to drill the hole for the umbrella, that looks miserable.
Yep.
And they just go spot to spot.
How about this one? Bill Murray's character in Groundhog Day, really lucky he didn't wake up with diarrhea that day. That is
I mean, everyone. God,
every day.
Every day.
Another one, life imprisonment is going to suck once medical advancements extend the human lifespan significantly.
That's right.
And this one's so true. We're uncomfortable sleeping in our bed if someone had sex in it, but we're comfortable sleeping in a hotel bed. Loads of people have had sex in it.
I've thought of that. I have thought of that one,
Yeah. But that's where you...
I'm in there naked.
Yeah, you sleep without clothes.
Well, I figure I'm not the first one. It won't be the last.
Yeah, but you don't do it in your own house where you have clean sheets and a mattress that you know what's happened on that mattress. Meanwhile, at a hotel...
I sleep naked.
Yeah. God only knows.
I can't really explain it, Jim.
Yeah. That's where I wear clothes in the hotel, not at home.
Yeah.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by the great folks at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help, whether you're looking for your final home or your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing. Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for all mortgages. Go to mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Patrick in the MyBookie chat room making fun of how many towels Brown goes through in his hotel.
Well, you should have seen us when we took our Texas trip. It was hotels every time, and the first thing we had to do is call down to the front desk to get more towels. Like, they give you one per person, 4, and then we had to call and get 4 more.
How do they do on the washcloths? I know the washcloth, half people use it, half don't. But
I use it. Everybody in my family uses it. I only use it in a hotel. I don't use it at home.
Steve Martin used it in planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, for a towel.
Yeah.
I don't use it at home. I use it in a hotel, though. Another oddity about me. I am a strange human.
You're a different person on the road in hotels.
I dress naked. I sleep naked and use a bath cloth at home. Sleep in my boxers. Don't use bath cloth. It's weird. I don't know.
Champy's Chicken is not weird. It's the best around, and it's a destination lunch location on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by there and check out Sterling and his crew. Over a decade in that location. It is perfect if you're in the Alabaster area. And this time of year, going to or from the beach or the lake, you can just get off that I-65 Highway 31 Alabaster exit, and it's right there on 119, less than a mile away from the interstate. It is Champy's world-famous fried chicken.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. While we're changing the game yet again, Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low, low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of the next round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Brown was just telling me a story as you walk back in, LT, off of McAfee's show yesterday. Can you retell the story? And I'm so dumb I had to ask if it was legal for him to go play after this.
So every week, unless it's a major or an invitational on the PGA Tour, if it's an open event, they have a Monday qualifier. And there are very few spots. A lot of times you're only playing for 1, maybe 2 spots, I would think, at a Monday qualifier. And guys that don't have any PGA Tour status, if they meet the requirements, they can go play Monday qualifier and get a spot in the PGA Tour event. Happens almost every week on tour. So McAfee was just interviewing the guy that won it yesterday for the event in Detroit this weekend, won the Monday qualifier to get into the Detroit event. He finished his round a little bit early, and there were still guys on the course, so he goes to the clubhouse bar and just starts drinking beer, and it ends up he gets in the playoff, and it was like, I don't know how many people were in the playoff. I think it was a 6-for-2 playoff, 6 people for 2 spots or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And
so go back out and play?
So he had 3 beers pretty quick after he got finished, and then had to go back out there and play, and ends up winning the playoff and getting in the PGA Tour event. And people were doing stories on it. Kevin Kisner, who I really like, you guys know who Kevin Kisner is. He's done some work with NBC, but he's on tour as well. He retweeted the story and said, "Pair me with this guy, PGA Tour."
Yeah, you'd be surprised at how many times things like this happen, though.
Oh, I knew a guy, really good golfer in this area, a great guy. He needed to smoke a little bit of weed, and after he hit a little weed, the guy was a different player.
Well, we call it the beer window. Just friends when we're playing. You got to get into my beer window.
Well, Jag thinks that my pool golf is next level when I get about 4 or 5 Bud Lights.
No. Everybody that's played any sort of golf, in a group, knows the guy that's got the beer window. You get him between 3 and 8 beers, and he's at his very best.
My first time ever going to Fenway Park, and I think I told you guys this story. My buddy Keith Ginner, who used to play for the A's, we were up there, and he didn't start that night for the A's. And so he's texting me, cell phone. This is before the Josh Hancock, incident. Unfortunately, the tragic accident where he lost his life. But they used to have a lot of beer in the clubhouses. And so Keith is texting me. He's like, we were planning on where we were meeting up or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I'm back in the clubhouse right now. I'm already drinking. And, he's probably 4 or 5 deep, and he gets called on to become a defensive replacement in the 9th inning.
Oh, crap.
And he was like praying that they didn't hit the ball to him, and they didn't.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I guarantee you there are a million stories out there.
Yeah.
Now, being in a playoff a little bit different and winning
it probably helped him. And Dunaway asked, is he allowed to play? There are rules, obviously, against performance enhancing. On the Champions Tour, they had a big controversy one year. Those guys were taking, I think it was called beta blockers that would slow your heartbeat down.
Right. And there was some of that gum that people chew a lot of now that's supposedly CBD gum,
Yeah,
I guess.
CBD gum. Tiger has chewed some of that. And I think Mickelson did too. Some of the older guys do that. But they were taking beta blockers to slow down their heart rate because they thought it helped them putt.
Yeah.
And they had to block that on the PGA Tour. But as far as pounding a beer, I don't know. But it probably helped them in the playoff. I mean, he had to be nervous going in. The guy had never done anything like this.
I mean, what would happen, seriously, if somebody was walking up 17 at the Masters and their caddy handed them a beer and they started drinking a beer?
I mean, I don't view it any different as a guy smoking a cig, right? I mean, you've seen that before on the tour, John Daly.
Yeah, that LPGA girl's doing it right now.
Yeah, that girl, Charlie Hall on the LPGA.
I would say if you wanted to steal an endorsement, if you were drinking a Bud Light.
Yeah.
I mean, be surprised?
I don't think the tour would do anything about it unless it crossed over one of their
sponsors.
One of their sponsor deals.
Walking up 18 with a Bud Light.
Yeah,
at the U.S. Open. I mean, if you got a 4-shot lead, what's the harm at that point, right? Brad makes a great point in the mybookie.ag chat room. I bet the 86 Mets had some stories.
Oh, didn't I think it was Hernandez in the Buckner game? He made an early out in that inning, as I remember it, and he said he had gone back to. I think he saw the Buckner play in the clubhouse because he was already back in the clubhouse having a beer.
I mean,
he did not want to sit in the dugout and watch the Red Sox
Wade
celebrate.
Boggs was drinking like 30 on a flight.
New York Butcher Shop bringing you the final sound from Tony Vitello. Cut 2, Rockstar, after LT tells us about New York Butcher.
Yeah, stop in, go see our friend Jim and the great staff at the New York Butcher Shop. 2 great locations, the original in Cahaba Heights, the newest location, Highway 119 in Greystone. Get into the New York Butcher Shop. You can pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. Don't forget about those huge deli sandwiches, great for lunch or dinner as well. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cahaba Heights, Greystone. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
National champion coach Tony Vitello of Tennessee after the win last night.
You know, I would rather just be me, you know. I honestly don't like phony conversations or, you know, you go to a restaurant and the waiter's got the voice, you know, they change their voice. Hey, how can I help you? I don't want to be somebody I'm not. So we've got nemesises we play against and all that, but I honestly have more respect for the coaches in this league than you could ever imagine or type into words or print out in words. And then you add in the guys who have families and do this. I honestly can't comprehend how you can juggle both of those things, because that's all I can do. So like Coach Heupel and Coach Barnes, their sports are the same. It was so good to see them. You have to lean on other people to survive this thing, because it is a monster and the traditions are so deep. And you did mention our university. No sympathy. We got all the resources in the world with where we're at. But it's you know, a place where we kind of had to build a foundation to catch up with, again, some of these other storied programs. And I don't think you ever, I mean, I guess Coach Saban would argue, but you don't ever really get to a point where you can look down on everybody, because the instant you do that, you're probably going to take an uppercut from one, if not multiple places.
Well, the old Nick Saban mentioned there.
So instantly Bama fans like Tony Vitello a lot
maybe
more.
That guy is not so bad.
He's not so bad.
So half of the current SEC have won championships, 8 teams, right?
5 straight from 5 different teams.
Yeah, and you got crazy. 2 new teams in next year, one of which will have a new coach in Texas, and it might have been a guy coaching last night.
10 of the last 15 national champions in baseball in Omaha. That's the strongest sport probably.
And it's only stronger with Oklahoma and Texas coming in.
Same with softball. The 2 diamond sports probably the toughest of all the sports in the SEC now. Fun show. Thanks for being with us again on this Tuesday. Hey, be safe out there. 100 degrees where we're living. Over 105 million Americans under heat advisory today. So be careful as we hit the afternoon hours. Check on your pets too. Your elderly neighbors, people like me, and your pets. Check on us. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.